Morning, everyone. First, I want to take a moment to acknowledge we have a new system. And so you people who have friends out there that watch these things, let us know if it's working, not working, please. I mean, we're testing it out. It's been tested, but it's supposed to be up and running. So hopefully we get nothing but good acknowledgement from that. The other thing I want to do before we start is thanks to Public Works. We attended the seniors breakfast. We had a nice breakfast there, and they said to make sure that the town knows that they very, very much appreciated having their sidewalks done and sanded. That was a big thank you to the Public Works for that. And that goes for the other buildings they did too, not just the seniors, the halls being in for ourselves here. That's appreciated. So at that time, we'll call the meeting to order. And I think we're going over the agenda, Dennis.
Yep, so we'll do an adoption of the agenda.
Okay.
Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I have two additions for the closed session. It's the POPA section 10, 12, 13, and 20. We're going to go over that in closed session. Also with the ATIA section, and I'll explain them when we get there. I've got a little more detail. Sections 19, 20, 32, and 35. So with that, we make a motion to.
So we'll make that 11A.
Well, closed session is 7.
But that's a different closed session.
We can't go off of that one?
No.
Okay.
So we'll go at we'll just make that 11A, if that's okay with council.
I think so.
Closed session 11A?
Yes. And then adjournment.
Okay. Any other questions, comments to the agenda? Okay. Yes.
I make a motion that we adopt the agenda as amended.
Any discussions? Which you said no. All in favor? Carried. Okay, Dennis, I'm gonna let you lead the order here.
Okay. I guess just to start, I just want to throw out that this is budget 2026 that we're presenting today. In a nutshell, and for lack of better words, it's a crystal ball. We're looking at an internal operating budget. Municipalities pass an internal operating budget at 50% of the operating budget of the prior year. That's what we'll be looking for on December 17th for a motion from council. The finalized budget will come due sometime in April. May at the latest, because we have school requisitions, RCMP requisitions, seniors requisitions. We don't typically get those until April, sometimes even in May, and then we can set the tax rate, the mill rate, and move forward from there. And it also gives us an opportunity in January, February, March, and April to massage the budget, get some finalization numbers. So the numbers that we're presenting today are just that. They are based on 2025 historical, which you'll see some historical data come up, and we will be putting those numbers in play again for 2026 and firm that up come April, May. So I just hope that everybody understands. Yes, sir.
Question, because I'm new to this. Our fiscal year goes May to April.
No, our actual operating goes from January 1st to December 31st.
Okay.
But we don't typically get school requisitions and the other requisitions until April. Most municipalities are in that same position.
So when you're reading through the budget here, year 2025 is January to December.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to just make a mention is it's a lengthy budget, but we've brought it down a bit. I don't know what council's will is. Do they want to ask questions throughout this, or would you want to hold your questions to the end? And I did provide, the girls provided you books and pens if you want to hold your comments to the end and we can get through this, or do you want a question throughout it?
Question throughout it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't miss anything.
Yep. No, that's good to know. All right. So we'll move on with the first item. Bear with me. So this is the intern check signing, and I'll give you a little background. The current check signing policy requires 2 authorized signatures, the chief administrator officer and the chief operating officer, and 1 of the mayor or deputy mayor. Currently, the town is operating with an intern chief administrator officer. The intern CAO is currently an authorized signatory. A contingency plan must be put into place to ensure that the required dual signature authority remains available for all town checks in the event the interim CEO is unavailable. To maintain financial accountability, ensure operational continuity, and comply with best practices during the search for a permanent CEO, the appointment of an additional authorized signatory is required. This is a secondary backup signatory who may sign checks in conjunction with the mayor or deputy mayor, only in the event that the interim CEO is unavailable. Historically, in instances requiring a temporary alternate signatory, the role of legislative clerk has been designated to provide the necessary secondary administrative signing authority. The options that we've laid out is that town council appoint Natalie Nichols, legislative clerk, as alternate signatory who may sign checks in conjunction with the mayor or deputy mayor in the event that the interim chief administrative officer is unavailable. Or that town council appoint at will as an alternate signatory who may sign checks in conjunction with the mayor or deputy mayor in the event that the interim chief administrative officer is unavailable. Third is options from the floor or will council.
So I understand with it, because there's an intern, CAO right now to do this. Which is, and we can appoint whomever, but I want, as soon as there is a CAO, a permanent CAO brought back into position, I want it to go back to originally how it was, where it has to be CAO. Along with the mayor, and if the mayor's not present, deputy mayor, the CAO is not present, the CEO, and that's it, like, that's all money.
And absolutely, Counselor Jacobs, that's exactly what.
But can we make
the
a note
intent
that
is.
when it, like, can we add that in the note so it doesn't get forgotten? So this is not continuously going.
We
when
can, we can
have-
flag it, we'll flag this down as a comment for sure.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's what we're trying to say. We just want to make sure we're protected in essence, right? So.
Any other questions, concerns on this? Are we looking for a motion to approve? I'm sorry, hang on.
Oh, did you want to make the motion?
We can.
Okay. I motion that town council appoint Sharman as alternate signing signatory, who can sign checks in conjunction with mayor or deputy mayor in the event the interim CAO is unavailable.
So, so Charmin, because she's got financial access, I was trying to explain that a little bit in that one email. It has to be somebody that doesn't do accounts payable receivable. And that's our right from our auditors. That's why Sharon can't have signing authority, Andrea, and Charmin does accounts payable receivable. So in the motion.
Sherry and Natalie, other than Sherry and Natalie, everybody else have access to finance in there.
Yes,
Okay,
But this is also the third or fourth down the line.
yes,
Let's not dwell on it too hard. And that's my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I know
Yeah.
we're protecting everything we do and rightfully so. But if that's our options, so that's our
Yeah.
options. With that information, any more discussion on it?
I'm gonna make a motion now.
I motion the town council appoint Natalie Nichols as alternate signatory who may sign checks in conjunction with the mayor or deputy mayor in the event that the interim chief administrative officer is unavailable.
All in favor? Harry? Opposed, I'm sorry, opposed? Motion is carried.
okay, thank you. So we'll move on to, now this is what I just brought up earlier, historical data. So we thought we'd provide council with some historical data on what we've been doing, and I'll just give you a quick briefing note. Bringing historical data to council's agenda for review is a practice for sound financial governance, strategic decision-making, and transparency. Reviewing the data is not about relitigating old decisions, but about establishing a baseline and context for future financial and operating planning. It helps with benchmarking and budget variances, identifying trends and anomalies, budgeting accuracy, capital planning and asset management, justifying new investments, accountability and transparency, and strategic financial decision-making. This information provides council with the necessary context and data to make informed, financial responsible decisions that align with the town's long-term goals. So with that note, we will move on to the next slide, which is going to be our natural gas power cost unless council wants me to break down every line, these are some of the historical costs that we've seen. This is not 2026. This is what we've seen from 2023 to 2025. Just so you can see where some of these costs have gone. And when we bring the budget, the 2026 budget up right away, you'll see where we predict these to go. So that's the natural power and gas costs. Next one. And you can see historically, there's been some variances with natural gas. Natural gas went down a little bit last year because the carbon tax. The carbon tax was removed. And now we predict it to go up a bit from last year, given the fact that 2022 it was still high because we still had the carbon tax in place. So we're still lower than what it was historically.
The 2025 data that we have here, is that up to when?
That is as what's the date of this slide? November 17th.
Okay.
So that number will change. And sorry, and my apologies. I guess I should have made it clear that the numbers that are presented to you on historical for 2025 are as roughly a few weeks ago. So those numbers will change. Those expenditures will change as the next month the bills come in December.
Councilor Arley.
So 2025, we budgeted last year for $175,000 for this natural gas. Our actual is at 137, so that's a difference of about 36,000. Up power? Yes. Oh, sorry. Well, the total, for the grand total for both, power and gas.
So we'll still have,
The 36,000.
so again, we still have 6 weeks of more to compile on this 137. So that number will go up.
So out of right now, with this data here, we are at 88% of what we budget for. So we might be breaking even.
We couldn't, and we don't know what, it
Yeah.
just depends what the rates do.
Especially with the cold
Well,
months
that's
coming,
one.
I know we might be very hung on.
That's correct.
That's actually better than what we thought.
Oh, yeah.
Just thought it was next May.
Okay, any other discussion on this?
So we'll go to the next slide, which is our insurance.
Oh, can I back one up?
Yes, you can.
Looking at the power of the Infinity Center, it's substantial, again. And the reason I bring this Infinity Center up, it seems to be a bit of a money pit, which I want you guys to take note on, about what we're spending on it and what we receive in revenue for it. It's bleeding us a little bit of money from what I see. So just, I ask you please to, council, to keep that one under your radar. It might be something to discuss.
So who's in there right now?
I don't know, is there anybody?
Yes. The John Batut Commission is in there.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And
Baker.
And Sherry Strickland.
Sherry's.
Yeah, but we went from 255 when we had carbon tax to 233 without the carbon tax a month. So the difference was nothing by removing the carbon tax on this. This Infinity Sensor is a money pit.
Okay,
And the rental, like whoever's renting that covers some of the costs, I'm assuming, right?
They do.
How much of the cost of the heat and everything?
To heat everything,
Yeah, I mean,
well, be there.
it'll be a combination between natural gas and the power to that building, right?
Okay.
So
About $5,000 a year.
Sorry to sidetrack a bit, but
yeah,
any other discussion on this one?
No, not for now.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Dennis, carry on.
not a problem. Thank you. So we'll go into insurance now. So that's always a wild animal. A lot of municipalities have seen their tax, their insurance increase. We have seen the same thing. So you'll see that our numbers for 2025 are quite close in line. We're for 2025 it's 31,055. Again, historical data, you'll see what we think it's going to be in 2026 coming up. Nothing really big, but you'll see there's typically a 5% increase in insurance per year is what it looks like.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So. Any other questions on insurance?
Well,
Okay, debentures. So everybody understands what debentures are, so
Can you familiarize us with that, please?
with which buildings are debentured. Currently, right now, we have two debentures in play. We have the fire department, which was a very long debenture taken out, and I believe that was was that a 30-year debenture? It was very long. The road debenture was 20, I believe. Again, so these are the two debentures that are left. Debentures consist of principal and interest. So right now for 2025, we're looking at paying $14,000 in interest and $46,000 in principal in roads. And for the fire hall, we're paying $9,000 principal, roughly, and $11,000 interest. Those numbers change year to year as the principal's paid off. So. Any other does that answer your question, Mr. Mayor?
I think so. Any other discussion on this?
I don't know why they just don't follow the loan.
Philadelphia lawyers.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Thank you. So the next one is contracted services. And I'm looking at Sharman's laptop because it's bigger than what I can see right now. So, again, I'm not sure, does everybody understand what
Explain
this is?
why contracted services was 30-30 and like we're budgeting that and we're like in 2024, it was actual 10 and then 2023, it was 10 and right now we're currently at 0. Did we
You're
not have snow in January?
Yeah, so we're talking about the road snow removal.
Yeah.
Councilor Jacobs, yes. So Mr. Mayor, through to Councilor Jacobs. The snow removal budget is 30,000. We put it into play each year, 30,000. We have not done a snow cycle in town in the operating year 2025. But I can, if I go by what I see on the forecast, by December 15th, we'll be doing a snow cycle, and that will be approximately.
But you mean like bringing like a contractor
You bring
out, come and
contractors.
haul the snow away?
That is correct.
So we didn't do any of that in January?
No, we did it. We did it just before Christmas.
Just before. Okay.
And that would have been in the 2024 operating budget. This year, I can assure you that we will be using it, and I believe the rates did go up a bit, not much, but that will be around that 15 to 17,000, depending on how many loads of snow we take out. So, just historically, I was just doing a quick calculation. We typically haul out 900 with 3 trucks, 990 tons of snow a day. So, 33 ton trucks, and also, we put our truck into the mix to try and get this done as quick as possible. We did the snow cycle last year, I believe, in 4 days, which was pretty good. Typically takes us 5 days.
And we learned that windrows do not work in our community.
In the last 10 years, I've done it once, and I think for those of you that sat on council back then, we had to do it. It was just one of those freak snowstorms. Nobody could get around. And
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, if people want, like, if someone like questions, like, hey, this seems more cost efficient. It may be, but there was a lot of, including myself, like to get out of the house, to get out of your back alleys, like it was ridiculous.
And I think that really brings up a good point is if residents ask why we haven't done a snow cycle or something. So we have policies in place for our snow removal policy. It's 15 centimeters packed in residential. Some of the communities that I've been involved in, yeah, we have snow clearing. If it snowed like this, we're out, but we're windrowing it to the side. I believe Lamont does that. Fort Saskatchewan 100% does that. Everything's to the side. We tried that here. We got mixed reviews, and council at the time said, no, let's just do snow removal. So the policies were put in place. Because you can imagine if we came in just to remove 5 centimeters of snow, at $30,000, it's going to go way up. So we try to be prudent when we do it and follow the policy. Answer your question, Councilor Jacobs. Thank you.
CEO Dennis, what services do we have? What IT services do we have?
The IT services we currently have are, okay, you want me to go through them all? Or do you want me to go through those all later?
If we're gonna cover it later, I'm fine with that.
We'll be covering it later.
Okay, and that goes probably for all our contracts and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Sure, thank you.
Are there any other questions on this page? Okay, we'll move on to the next page, which impact to budget 2026. With me. over here. Do I have to read it? You know, this one? No, I don't think so. Right? So impact to budget 2026. So natural gas. Natural gas and power, insurance, debenture costs, minus contracted services is the increase amount. So we see an increase of only 9,610 in fixed costs. So that's relatively low. Are there any questions to this information?
So what? Sorry, I got-
Go ahead, Councilor Arlen.
So it's going up by $9,000.
Yep.
We got rid of the carbon tax.
Mhm.
Shouldn't this be going down? This number be going down quite a bit.
The contracted services would have an inflationary cost based on some of our contractors. We have very little control over that. It's an increase. Are there any other questions to the impact of budget 2026?
Think we're good, carry on.
Bear with me, it's gonna get to the next. This week.
And just so you know that I've got, one person told me that, they like what they're hearing and seeing, so our system is working.
Sorry, my apologies. I just
You got a
a
couple
lot of
minutes.
papers.
We're all good.
Okay, so budget revenue. So this is the revenue that we predict to come in on property tax. And again, historical, we're still on historical, so this is what we've come up with for 2025. So we originally budgeted in 2025, 1.447 million. And we are currently at 1.448. So we're actually over our budget amount. And that would be probably through some of the taxes that were, the back taxes that were owed that we caught up on. That's probably what you're seeing as a variance in overage. And then other revenue total, again, if you look at that, we budgeted, we're still thinking we're going to be at that 2.145 million. So not a lot of difference from what we forecast. Is there any other questions on this one?
When we do this budget here, the idea is to zero it at the end because everything is negative here. So as the money start coming in, the budget would zero at the end.
Yeah, negative value is believe it or not, is a revenue.
No, I know that, but
Yeah. So that's the negative, that's the revenue coming in. It says minus, but that's how we code it is. It's a negative value, right? And then the expenditures go against that. And at the end, so in 2025, when we do the audit, at the end, I'm just going to throw out a number. If the expenditures were 2.1 million and we still have, and we've only spent 1.9 million, council would be left with a surplus of 300,000 to say, where would you guys like to put it? Which reserves would you like to put it in? And that would be when that's something the auditor will present to town council and residents. And that will happen in late April or May. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Lester? Okay.
Yeah.
So I would just need a motion from council that council receive this historical data as information.
Any other questions or concerns?
No, I was.
Okay,
I motion that town council receive the historical data as information.
all in favor of that? Motion carried, unanimous.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to fixed costs. And this is the budget forecast 2026 fixed costs, and this is going to represent an annual overhead to ensure operational continuity or commitments for the year. So this is natural gas and power, insurance, debentures, contracted services, revenue administration, and revenue operations. So this is our 2026 forecast. So you'll see what we see in 2025. At general admin natural gas, we see an increase. In natural gas, we see a 5% increase on power. Although these amounts represent an increase over the original 2025 budgeted figures, please note the final expenditures were still below the budgeted amount. These outcomes could fluctuate on various operational factors or unpredictable weather. it is common practice to incorporate an average 5% increase to the budgeted amount. And that would be just, I think that was a question that Councillor Young alluded to earlier, is its cost of increase in business. So are there any questions on this page? From council?
You don't really have much control over what they charge us.
No.
Moving on.
Thank you. So this is our forecast budget for 2026 for insurance. Again, you'll see a 2.25% budgetary increase. Hopefully nothing else factors into it, but this is what we predicted, a 2.25% increase in insurance throughout all the buildings. Is everybody okay with that slide?
This is one of those that do you accept the terms? Yeah, we are okay. What we're gonna say, no?
Yeah. You know what, and as I said at the beginning of this meeting, it's a crystal ball. We're guessing at 2.25. For all we know, it could be, oh, we're gonna gas and power could come down, insurance could come down. We don't know. We have to just play the game, if you will. Yeah.
Love the optimism then.
Yeah, right. So budget forecast debentures, we talked about that in historical data. So this is what we bring forward for 2026. This is our debenture and principal and interest. This is what we predict for 2026. So you'll see a slight increase in principal on the fire. You'll see an increase on the interest, and you'll see a increase on principal and interest in the roads. And we're just forecasting there could be an increase depending on what the the interest rates are doing. Any questions on that slide, council members?
Okay, we're good.
Thank you. So again, 2026 budgeted contracted services. So here's our forecast for 2026 based on 2025 numbers to the left. As you can see, 2025 seen a variety of implementation fees due to new software programs. This is why our actual cost was over. Admin software hardware includes Rise, Payroll, Voyant, Adobe subscriptions, RecDesk, Catalyst, which includes the ERP, GIS, web mapping, and website services, eGov, Catalyst, meeting management, and Zoom.
Dennis, do you have like actual breakdown with which each of those individual, because that's for that's software / hardware, right?
That's correct.
56,000 there. Do you have a breakdown of what each of them cost and not just bulk together?
We can get that for
Can we get
council. I
that?
don't have that preview right now, but I can get that for council for the next regular meeting if so wish.
Yeah, and then for the equipment leases and contract, what is that specifically again? Sorry, the very first item.
That is for photocopiers, like that's our photocopier machine. I think it's mostly photocopy machine and some of that's the what? Oh, and the postage machine, sorry.
So I got a question there. So we know, I wasn't there. You guys budgeted 36,000 in 2025. We went on 25. And now we're budgeting again 36,900.
Yep.
I mean, is there anything that happening here that, I mean, because we bought equipment, we did things last year. Are we gonna do that this year again, or can we drop that to a more realistic, I don't know, 28?
So if I may, Councillor Acosta, so in 2025 so far, as of November 18th, we're only at 25,000. That number could be lower than the 36,000 prior to December 31st. Again, it was just a number that was put in there. So again, it's a fixed lease, like the photocopier, it's a lease program. So is the postage machine. So postage, we have no control over, but.
Okay, so sorry, my bad. So this is not that we are acquiring new equipment or anything like that?
No.
Oh,
No, sir.
I know that in 2000, so in the historic data there, in 2024, it was 35,466, and then in 2023 is 34,280.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of.
It's pretty,
Yeah.
it's pretty consistent.
Ask a question, general admin accessory, what's that? Assessors.
Yes, so that would be,
Audited?
yeah, the auditor. No, this is the assessment, Tamara. So that's the assessors that do all the assessment and property. So look at your house, what's it worth? Basically, what they do is they do an overarching summary of the town, look at properties that have sold, comparable properties. That's how your place is assessed.
These assessments are done. It's like a spot check. They don't check every property in town.
Oh.
Okay, good.
15.
Counselor Dana.
Okay, so with planning development contracted services, so in historical data, it was like in 2023, it was like 12,000. In 2024, it was 3,000. Why has it increased so much in the last 2 years?
Mr. Mayor, through to Councillor Jacobs, that is because we now have an economic development officer. I wouldn't say on staff, but on contract.
That's Paul.
That is Paul.
And we've only had Paul for 2 years?
No, I think
How long has
this,
Paul been here
I
for?
think only a year.
Just a year?
Yeah. And I would believe that the year before that, Dana or Councillor Jacobs is that would be due to how the administration would put so much percentage of everybody's wages to a person, if you will.
Okay.
Or in this case here, this is put toward one person.
We came on board in 2025.
What page are you on?
Which is weird that we budgeted 15 in 2000 for 2025. 15 for 2024, 15 for 2023. I know, I'm looking at I'm comparing the historical data to our new data.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully that gives you the right answer.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. If that's what it is and that's the reason behind it, that's cool. I believe you.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Any other questions to this page?
Good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Thank you. So 2026 budget revenue administration. Again, you saw this in 2025. Now we're doing what's 2026. So this is the revenue that we anticipate to come in for the town. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I would like, hopefully council's had an opportunity to look at the last few days. Is there anything that stands out that you would like me to attempt to talk about?
Just
Counselor Dana.
just to confirm, so the transfer from reserves at 128,000 and 196, that's the reservoir, correct? Is that linked to that? Sorry.
I'm not sure. I don't know if that's.
Or is that the grant
I
funding?
think that's part of it. Yeah, because the grant will come in as revenue and then it'll go back out as an expenditure.
Okay, and then the bylaws and fines with the that we're budgeting bringing in $500 for it, right?
Yep.
And we've budgeted to bring in this is my concern. Okay, we're thinking that we're gonna bring in, because of bylaw that we have in our community, we're gonna bring in $500. And it seems like those numbers have dropped in
Substantial.
half, if not more, in the last couple of years. Why is this? Can we get some numbers from our Strathcona bylaw to see what kind of patrol they're doing in our community, if we're actually getting what we're paying for? You know what I mean?
100%.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, through to Councillor Jacobs, some of these requests that have to do with this budget, I won't bring in, if I can just retract that, I wouldn't bring them back to the December 17th. I'll bring them back into the January, February when we start finalizing this, just so that we don't get, all over the map here and what we're trying to do. This is budget. Next meeting will be a regular meeting. Is council okay with that?
I'll save my money.
But I do agree with you, Councillor Jacobs, that we can research that and find out what those dollars are at currently.
Any more discussion on this page?
Thank you. So the next page is 2026 budget revenue operations. Again, I will put it to council. Has everybody had an opportunity to review those lines?
We did good in the campground, hey?
Yeah.
Campground rocked it, yeah.
The campground actually
The
rocked
hall
it.
needs to be work and the Infinity Center needs work, but the campground is a rock star.
And I want to keep it at 45,000 because one time we did very, very well in the campground. We increased the budget one year to reflect it and we came way under. So if we stay conservative at 45, which historically this is what we've been at, anything after that, it's a surplus.
Right.
It's a bonus, if you will.
Counselor Dana,
Dennis, can you explain, because there's two Lamont County grants, one's for 20 and one is for 30. Oh, sorry, I'm looking, one is for 20 and yeah, one is for 35. What's the difference between those two?
You're with me, Councillor Jacobs.
one's a park grant and one's a program grant.
So, County of Lamont provides the town of Bruderheim with a joint, and for lack of a better word, joint use recreation agreement, but we get funding in so many different allocations. So we take those funds and we allocate them into specific GLs or line items, if you will. So we'll split them, like could be FSS, could be,
That's the meeting I just attended.
that's exactly the meeting you just attended.
They didn't
And
wanna
I
move
did
forward.
factor in, my apologies, Mr. Mayor.
No, I
I did.
sorry, go ahead.
I did factor in what you had mentioned to me, so that number is factored into this 2026 budget.
And just so council knows, I did attend that meeting and the county didn't want to give you any money because everybody needs money, but we did tentatively sat on that they would give us 2%, and that's what Dennis and I spoke about. And that, yes, they do allocate money from the county to us if they're kind enough, but under pressure, Barry Corlick from Town of Lamont says, well, I want 10%, and he's not gonna get it, but why not shoot high, right?
Yep.
So anyway, it looks like the majority is at 2%, and we're hoping to get it.
And just to echo Mr. Mayor's sentiments there, that 2% I did factor into the 2026 budget. So, are there any other questions on this page that council has?
Are we gonna revisit this page?
I don't know.
In
I just, there's a couple of glaring things of it. The arena rental, is interesting numbers. Yeah, the Infinity Center again keeps popping up in my radar about, the insurance, the utilities and the contract service. And,
Mr. Mayor, just for the arena, again, that's November 18th. We haven't even billed out November yet.
Oh, okay.
So we bill out the arena to the teams once a month, right? So we won't even see what happened in November until, well, this week we just did it, I believe. We just did up the billing. So that number is going to change dramatically.
yeah, okay, thank you. That's,
Do you have a ballpark on how much we make from the arena every month? Or is it very different?
It's,
very
yeah, you know what? And so Councillor
I know,
Diaz,
I know.
we look at it from a yearly thing because the arena sits dormant throughout the summer
Right.
months, right? So
it would be great if we could utilize all our buildings more, and if that's in lowering rent or increasing the advertising or what the availability, I mean, maybe the hotel motel, if we were gonna get that back, would help our cause. So there's a lot of stuff to work on, which we plan on, and the arenas actually, I don't know a lot of them, I've been in the arenas all my life. They're not moneymakers, they're just a convenience for the community, so you just want to be careful with that one, don't put a big spotlight on it because it's not a moneymaker. That I'm aware of.
and absolutely, in my career, arenas, anything recreational, we call them the lost leader, if you will. It attracts people to the community to show that we have the infrastructure and the support mechanisms in place to help families. So it's a good thing to have. And yes, does the arena make money? Do we
Not
break
really
even?
set up for that, so.
We're close, but again, we get other spin-offs from people coming to the community too. So
You're right, Ron, we could utilize it in summertime too, right?
Well, this is what we're gonna, this council is all about, we're gonna try and make this place to be.
Well, if you look outside right now, the cars are lined up down the street because of that rain right now, right? They got
That
it.
The arena and the market, yeah, and the hall, so
And the market.
we'll get there, I think, so. Any other discussion on this page? Go ahead, Dennis.
thank you.
See you.
So, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the impact to the budget in 2026 was administrative other revenues. We'll see an increase in revenues of 93,000, and operations will see an increase of 10,000. I'm not giving you exact numbers, I'm just rounding them off just for sake of words. That's a pretty straightforward slide. Is there anything else you'd like to know or move on to the next one?
Here we go.
Then I will be looking for a motion from council that council receives the fixed cost data information as information.
Any other discussion on this before someone will put forward a motion? Councilor Louise.
I motion that council receive the fixed cost data information as information.
All in favor? Opposed, carried.
Thank you. We will move on to requisitions. So a requisition is a formal request submitted to the town to initiate the procurement of necessary goods, services, or resources. That's the explanation behind it. The requisitions focus on operational requirements, including those supporting the RCMP, school foundation, seniors, libraries, and resilient rurals. Resilient Rurals helps the town of Bruderheim in partnership with other towns prepare for and adapt to the local impacts of climate change on human resources, finance, and infrastructure. These requisitions are essential services that fall under shared provincial or regional responsibilities. They ensure stability to the services that provide quality of life to the town. So, as council had an opportunity to review, and this is some historical in here from 2023 to 2025.
Councilor Early.
So in 2024, there was no budget for the wages for resilient rules. We spent 43,000. And second line.
Oh, he skipped the good one. He went to the second.
Yeah, okay.
We'll get to the good one.
Okay. So anyway, I'm just wondering, and then in 2025, we didn't have anything in the budget and we spent 128,000.
Sorry, Councillor Young, repeat that again?
Yeah, so
I'm just trying to see it.
the second one down.
Yeah.
Says wages for resilient rules.
That's correct. Yeah, I can see that one.
Yeah.
So the actual was 43,000.
Yeah.
We didn't
and then
budget for it in
We
2024.
didn't budget anything for 2025, but we spent 28,000.
And I would like to double check before I speak too loudly on this, but I believe there is revenue that's on the revenue side of this that actually
Funding?
offsets it. Yes. So
Can you possibly give an explanation of resilient rules? Cause I think I know a little bit of resilient rules, but I think a lot of like council doesn't know what resilient rules is and they haven't been.
I'm going to give you the best person to give you the best answer to that. Sharon, do you want to talk a little bit about resilient rules?
So Resilient Rurals is a program we started back probably 15 years ago, actually. And we brought in Jill Yanich. And the reason for it is that point in time, council really felt strongly that we needed to be looking at climate change and what it does to our community in terms of activities that we do, in terms of infrastructure. So they formed Resilient Rurals. And it's evolved over the years. Councils had different priorities they wanted her to address. Most recently, in the last 3 years, we had a partnership with the town of Lamont. Gibbons was the other one. We did do a bit of work with Bonaccord, a lot of work with University of Alberta. We've used a lot of their students to do a lot of the work that we have been focusing on. Basically, the program in the last few years has centered around climate change and what we can do in our community in terms of how do we prevent soil erosion, for example, or how do we work on the environmental impact of lots of snow, rain, drought. And so they have all kinds of strategies and whatnot on their website. If you actually go into the town of Bruderheim, click on Resilient Rurals, there is incredible data in there. Jill has been instrumental in getting a lot of grants for this town. To work on different projects related to that. And we've also had the opportunity to work with University of Alberta, and Bruderheim through Jill has done a lot of presentations at the FCM conference, for example, to the university about the work that Bruderheim has been doing on in this area.
Sure.
Yeah.
You start by saying it's a program that we implemented. Who is we? Bruderheim, among Alberta.
She's actually an employee of Bruderheim, but we have a partnership with the other communities as well.
So all communities have this.
Right now, this particular program is Bruderheim,
Right.
Lamont, and Gibbons has some part of it. And Bonaccord was very involved, but they've kind of stepped away. But recently we heard they want to get back really involved again, so.
Has the town ever implemented any of the, I don't know, the findings or anything that the work that's come from resilient rurals?
Absolutely.
Like, can you give me an example?
So some of the stuff that we did in emergency management ties off of that.
I noticed they have the resilient rules on their vests. I noticed that.
Yes, we do. Yes, there's quite a few people that have that resilient rules. Ask us, what are we? What do we do? A lot of the plantings that we've done in town, for example, the trees and the perennials and stuff ties into resilient rules because we're looking at plants that can adjust to any types of weather. What type do we plant? Where do we plant them? How do we plant them? We've done that. Working on the waterway that's back over here and some of the issues we've had over the years, that's been resilient rurals. We worked with the North Saskatchewan Watershed Association, looking at what we need to make that creek healthier. So yeah, a lot of different aspects of things that Jill does. It'd be good if she actually could come to council and talk.
Yeah, because it's a pretty high ticket, big ticket price on here. So
It looks like it's a big ticket price, but I can honestly say that in a lot of cases, the wages have been offset because there's been grants involved with it.
yeah, that was my next question. So the
Yes.
grants make up for what we pay, or do we break even?
Generally speaking, they cover her salary. Generally speaking, there's a bit of difference that the town would be picking up. But most of it is covered through grants.
And in specific, if I may, Sherry, when Jill had the students from the university,
Yeah.
that was 100% grant funded. She actually sourced out getting the grant, those two students. So we got triple whammy
Yeah.
for nothing. So that was really, really good.
Yeah, it'd be great to get her in here, just speak to that.
I think we typically do have
We
Jill
usually
come and
do,
speak
yeah.
once a year, and then certainly we can talk to her and see what kind of, what her
She's
itineraries
got a lot of outside connections too, right?
Oh,
She's
Yes.
very connected.
Yeah.
She's actually an environmental specialist. Like Jill is very well known.
So like in the past and many times, stuff gets lost in the shuffle and lack of information. We just got enlightened, because we were, I think, coming in here, instead of shooting that down with a gun right now, because we didn't know what the heck it does. And now, as you've seen Dana, Councilor Dana, oh, yeah, now that makes sense. And same with Lester, myself even. I mean, the future, we need just more people to come and say, all right, and school us. Otherwise, you're gonna meet resistance, I'm sure, especially from this council. So, thank you for the report on it, because it's enlightened probably all of us a little bit, and we're not done with that, right?
Yeah.
We they're like Councilor Luis had said, there's money changing hands, and we want to make sure that our money goes to the best place. And that's what we're all about. So thank you again.
Yeah.
Any other questions about this?
okay, having heard.
Oh, no.
One second.
When he said any more question about this, I thought he was talking about resilient rules. I have
Yeah.
questions about the RCMP.
Okay.
Okay,
What do we
Councilor-
get from that $75,000? I mean, it looks like we get nothing because we don't have police presence in town. We call them, they don't come. What comes from this? What am I putting $75,000 towards to?
Mr. Mayor, through the Councilor Costa, council. We had the RCMP and I apologize, the name escapes me.
Oh, it's Landy or
Yeah.
Scott
He
Land.
was just here not too
He was
long.
just here not long ago and he did cover some of what they do. And it was actually, he was very well spoken in explaining their struggles or their challenges to be here. How their detachment looks in terms of there's detachment, there's highway, how many members are on, yada, 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 and how many get attributed to the rural community. And I would think to give you the better answer for that, Councilor Costa, is I would ask the RCMP, which I believe they are coming in the new year. And that would be a question that I would highly recommend that you ask him, because he's open for questions.
Oh.
And he can give you the best answer for that.
I will, and I know, I heard the answer before, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same very political answer about how the struggles they have and whatnot. The thing is, they put in $75,000 and we're not seeing anything. I mean, coming down here with statistics about why the organization have all these issues doesn't satisfy the need or the curiosity of the residents of these towns that they call the RCMP and the RCMP tells them on the phone, we're not going. So, that is Yeah. It's a slap in the face to the residents here, thinking that we are gonna have something, and it's not that, hey, we don't have the resources, we're gonna be there later, it's like, we're not going.
It's just,
Come to our station in Fort Saskatchewan. When you have a problem at home, you know, just come and see us. We are only 20 minutes away up the road. Walk here because they stole your vehicle and we're not gonna go and see you. So we need a little bit more of a political answer, a little bit more of a, you know, what are you gonna do for us? Because $75,000 is not chump change in a town of 1,300 residents.
Can I add something to that?
You sure can.
Sorry, I'd like to just kind of give you a little bit of background about that. At one point in time, communities like Bruderheim did not pay for RCMP. I think it was 3 years ago, the province decided every community is paying for RCMP, and it's based on population. So this charge that's coming from the requisition is not about the RCMP providing services to your community. This is a download from the province. And so when the RCMP inspector was here just recently, somebody asked him that question and he was very careful to say, it's not them that's charging you that, and it's not about their service. It's something that's coming from the province. So the province would be who you'd be lobbying about your concerns with that. Right?
but I think the issue too is lack of services, right? Regardless of whether we're paying or the province is paying. We're not seeing their services being provided at a satisfactory rate. That's an issue, right?
It's a separate issue from what's coming down in terms of the requisition, because that's coming provincially.
Okay, so I was elaborating on that. You're right. I was at the council meeting. It was pre-election that he showed up and he explained it, and it's you get in the canned answers and the best answers he can provide. His hands are tied, and he'll explain it when they show up. But you know, here it's the government saying you got to pay that whether you like it or not. What you get is what you get.
So we okay, so we get nothing from the $75,000, but we have to pay it.
Well, it feels like
But-
nothing.
Well, yeah. From this, we get nothing.
But
The province is forcing us to pay money that we don't get anything from. That we have to pay.
They feel
because-
your pain.
so I get that it comes like this is province, this is why we have, because the province, but still that doesn't answer that, hey, you know, you have a duty to fulfill, you get a call, you come with the residents, right?
Yeah.
Right, that's not the province telling them not to, you can't go, that's them choosing not to.
Yes. That's
That's
my
what I
point.
think what
Yeah.
our point is.
That's what we need that person here. I think I was talking to Natalie, yes, and I say, can you invite him here? We need to hear from him. Again, know the statistics. Statistics are awesome. I love statistics, but garbage in, garbage out, you put in a piece of paper, whatever you want to put. I want to know why Fort Saskatchewan think that they can tell us they're not gonna come here. And then they come back here and said, well, we have another call that day. You know, those are the things we need answers here.
Okay, just to touch on that, we can beat this to death because of 30-some years ago, I had my truck stolen in front of my house. And it's my birthday, and I said I was going to work, and I told the RCMP that, and he didn't come in at 35 years ago when they weren't as busy as they are today. He never came to the house. He asked me if I needed a ride to work. And that was the answer. And I said there, no, go find my truck. Just, I feel the same pain 35 years or 30-some years ago. So let's get him in here and then we'll.
So that was gonna be my suggestion, Mr. Mayor, Council. Let's get him in to talk. If we're still not satisfied with what he has to say, there's other options that perhaps council could send a letter to the ministry on behalf of the town and stress it out a little further, go above and beyond, right?
The MLA might have done that already.
Yes.
Yeah, there's been some emails flying around.
Thanks, Dennis.
Any other questions on this page? Dennis.
Mr. Mayor, I heard Councillor Jacob say break after.
Wait, we got 60
Yeah.
minutes.
Oh, you're going on the, what we were.
Yeah, we're almost there.
I didn't want to make sure.
Yeah,
Oh, no, I'll let you know.
She does.
So now the next slide is budget requisitions. Bylaw, RCMP requisition. Again, you just saw that back in the prior slide. School foundation, this is our prediction. Again, last year we took 75,000 from unrestricted surplus and contributed to a substantial reduction in the overall outstanding liability, resulting in significantly lower actual amount for 2025 compared to preceding years. So it'll be to the will of council if you want to pay that requisition again from reserves or from perhaps what we have for surplus. That'll be at the will of council sometime in April.
Okay, no, I'm just trying to get my head around this. Is that credit we got to our taxes? Is that what we're talking about?
No,
Okay. Different thing.
but again, and right, Councillor Young, this is gonna come sometime in April. We'll know that amount.
We can move
Much
past
better.
that. Dana says move forward.
Thank you.
Okay.
So again, we're just put it in graph form, some historical requisitions data. So we went to 20. That's okay. 2023, 25, 26. So RCMP, you can see it stayed pretty much on board. Resilient Rules has actually went down in 2025. We see we don't have anything in Resilient Rules for 2026, and we'll allude into that later. School Foundation, we see an increase, a prediction, if you will. The Seniors Foundation, it's about on par. In the library, we see little to no change. Requisition impact to tax bill. So it'll be, so with the removal of resilient funding, a possible 15,000 requisition impact will directly influence the municipal tax liability to the residents of Bruderheim due to the increases. This cost will be levied over and above the amounts already slated. Pretty straightforward.
Good.
I'll just need a motion from council that town council receive the requisition data as information.
Councilor Arley,
I'll make motion that town council receive the requisition data as information.
all in favor? Opposed, carried. You want to make a motion?
Do we have to make a motion or we just
No,
recess?
you had to make a motion.
Oh, my God. Do you remember this last time when I made a motion to go for a recess?
And you were told you didn't
I
have to
didn't
make a
have
motion?
I
Oh.
motion that we take, how long do you want me?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10-minute recess.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, things changed then from me to.
Well, I was like, do I just call recess? Cause last time I got my hands slapped.
I'd like to move this back into session. I think we're all full of fresh air, right? Yes. Anyway,
So we need a motion to move back into session.
somebody make a
My
motion,
motion that we go back into that open session.
all in favor? Carried.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So now we will need a motion from council that town council enter closed session as per PAPA sections 12, 13, and 15, and the ATIA section 20.
We need a motion? Arlie,
I'll make the motion that we go into enter closed session. Sections 12, 13, 15, and ATIA, section 20.
bye, Jenna. Welcome back.
There is 3 people in the waiting room.
Yeah, I'm on the other computer on that one.
We'll just get them in here.
They're all joining.
Okay, at this point, we need a motion from someone to reopen the session. Councilor Arlie,
I'll make a motion that town council return to open session as
11:36.
35.
35. All right, on the next,
So we'll need one more motion,
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor.
yeah, we'll need someone to what do they call it? LAC?
Colette, COL,
So that's what.
it's up
Councilor
there.
Arlie,
I'll make a motion that town council provide 2% cost of living adjustment to staff and council.
congratulations, you just got a raise. Anybody, all in favor? Against? None? Carried?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we'll move on to our next slide, which is departments. Sorry. So administration. That's not what's up there. Okay, yeah. So these are the departments that are within the town. As everybody can see, legislation, administration, fire, bylaw, disaster services, planning and development, economic development, and library.
Chairman, somebody's waiting to get accepted.
I clicked, it says they're joining. I can't, it won't let me
Yeah.
do anything. They might be a connection issue on their end.
So Tracy keep enter
Yeah.
the waiting room. You have to admit them so they can actually join the meeting.
Yeah, and I have here and it says
Oh, okay.
join. Yeah,
She's
I have it
trying,
on
she's
this
trying to
Oh,
join.
all right.
yeah.
Thank you. Carry on, CAO.
So we have for ADM legislation, we have a budget forecast. And again, this one was generated December 2nd. So. Thank you. Sorry. No, that's okay. So you'll see where we are in 2025, what it looks like in 2026. These are our predictions. One thing I want to just make a mention about salaries. Every year, we take a percentage of, and for example, we'll take a percentage of Charmin, Natalie, Sherry, Dennis, but so much on each area.
We
So,
noticed that.
and you may see a decrease in one area in salaries or an increase in another area in salaries, but at the end of the budget, you'll see where this is the total budget. We just moved that number around to balance out where our responsibilities are.
Is this a practice with other communities?
It is.
Is it always been a practice?
Any community I've,
Been with?
Yeah.
Okay, Councillor Dana.
This is off the top. Are you done talking about the adjustment of wages throughout the budget? 'Cause this is completely different on
Yeah.
this. So on your, on the travel and substance membership and training.
Yeah.
Why is there an increase from $5,000 to 12,000?
new council is how I found that. So all your new training that you'd be coming up would be attributed to those extra costs.
So what did that put in? Didn't we not do that for last budget? We increased the training on last budget?
It was existing council, but I think the premise was here that with new council, the new councilors didn't have that availability. Or they don't have that availability that the prior council had.
I thought we approved
'Cause
this
we-
last budget though, for the new council coming in.
Well, it was approved at 5,000 last year and it went to
But
12,000.
we did cause the extra training that we had to do, Bloom,
Yeah.
we approved Bloom last budget into that, so that's already.
Oh, that was under
Okay.
election, I believe, yes.
Right, and then, we have less councils this year, which is less numbers of training. And we've had council before that didn't have to pay this amount of training.
Yeah.
You get where I'm coming from a little?
I do. And
Right.
so if you can indulge me, I think what I'll do there to give you a proper answer, let me take this back. And let me just research this number a little bit more and I can give you a better answer in the new year. I don't want to say the wrong thing because I'm not sure, to be honest with you, Dana, but let me investigate that and we will find that out.
Okay, thank you for that. And also, I would like you to break that down. It says travel substance membership. Let's figure out what we're paying out of that.
Yeah, we can break that
Please,
down.
because, that came up on my radar as well.
And then one other thing, just, I think we should kibosh the strategic plan for this go around, cause that's like 20 grand. I don't know if that's if we could just go off the existing one by chance.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either. It's.
Let me research that a little bit more too,
Yeah,
and
please.
then I know a few associations I'm on the board with. Strategic planning is always a good thing. Some communities do it yearly, some do it every few years. So
I think we just wanna thrive.
Yeah.
We just want to thrive, not just survive, we want to thrive. There's our strategic plan.
so let us review that, and we will get back to you with that answer, and that'll be in the new year. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you.
All
Are
right,
we
so
done with this page, guys? Any other suggestions or comments? Thank you, Dennis.
all right, so next one is we'll carry on. So this is getting into general admin wages, salaries. Again, everybody's seen this, travel, meals. This is now dealing with staff, right? So staff training, equipment leases, insurance, everything that we broke down into departments, fixed costs, you will now show up on all these GL listings.
We'd want that.
A little more
broken down the best
critique,
you
right?
can. Councillor Dana.
Hey, Dennis, and the supplies and materials for general admin, so we budget 15,000 and we've got like only 7,700. Is that, it seems kind of extreme, not like double? Or are we budgeting for double when?
But no, so we budgeted 15,000 in 25 and we're budgeting 15,000 in 26. We've only spent 7,600,
Yeah,
but we still have another 6 weeks. So that could be paper, envelopes,
so you
ink.
think you're gonna spend $7,000, where's the?
I don't know.
I feel like you're not, considering like the
Yeah.
year's almost over.
Yeah. And you know what? Again,
Well, let's look at this one.
so Deputy Mayor, if I may, again, we'll have that total amount what we spent in 2025 prior to setting the 2026 budget, because the auditors will be presenting. If we find that number is overinflated, we can bring that number down.
So. For next go round, because I don't think you have, like, unless I'm missing something. Because you have the historical data on utilities, insurance, debentures, and contracted services, right? There's nothing really on admin, is there? I didn't, unless I missed it. Did anyone else see anything on admin? I don't think. So I have nothing to compare it to for previous. Can we make sure we get historical data on the admin part?
Yep.
Too?
100%.
I don't have my budget from last year, but that's kind of what I was going off of too. But-
Okay. So we put 2024 in there as a line.
Yeah, so even like 23 too, so we could see like the comparison, like, cause if we're only spending like 8 grand in the last 3 years on supplies and stuff, why are we still budgeting 50?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If I may, we can do 3 years. This is gonna get really condensed into us.
Do it like this.
Yeah,
A little spreadsheet on Excel,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be so fancy.
yeah.
Do it like the historical.
Okay.
Right?
No, and we can do that. We can go back to 23.
Dennis,
Yes, sir.
this general admin software and hardware, $57,750.
Yeah.
After we spend this year 62,484. Why?
So that will be annual licensing in Microsoft Word, our payroll. I can go on and on. IT
60
services.
grand?
You're gonna give us a breakdown. This is the
Uh,
stuff.
yeah,
that's
this is-
breakdown, right?
Somebody requested this earlier and we will have that breakdown for you.
Because last year we got the new Catalyst software, and we got
Yeah.
all the things for
Yeah.
the check printing and yada yada.
But there is annual licensing. I don't want to put an illusion out there that we
You'll
don't
give us a
get.
breakdown, Lester.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got that.
But there is licensing fees that we have to pay yearly, so. I know. Okay, so is everybody has viewed this? Can we move on to the next page?
Carry on.
And this is just the remainder of it. And again, all these numbers, there is an increase, but all these numbers can be massaged over the next several months. It's just our crystal ball.
The equipment maintenance for $1,000. What do you maintain for $1,000? I mean, that sounds very low. Either that or we have really brand new good equipment.
Equipment, that would be,
I mean, like printers and stuff?
let's say a hole puncher or.
Okay, okay, that's why it's so low.
Binding machine, something like that, right? Equipment. Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. And this has fire. So again, and I keep saying that, this is all the stuff that's been shown prior. This is just breaking it down by line, by line, by line, a lot of stuff. Yeah. So is there anything that stands out with this one? And again, the increase you see is fire insurance. That's what we see as an increase.
The expected revenue from fire permits and fire pits is $50.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of fire permit people coming in to take out fire permits. So it's just a number. It's an arbitrary number that was put in there, $50.
Any other questions on this page? No. Moving on.
And we have a budget forecast for the bylaw. So again, you can see where we're at for dog licensing, traffic, Strathcona, and traffic transfer from reserve. So we did do a transfer
Show
reserves.
that one, Dennis?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Ma'am.
Thank you. Transfer from reserve, 40,000, that's to pay our bylaw, dude? Is that what it is?
That is. Well, so,
And
okay,
we're
let's
gonna
let's back this up, sorry, Deputy Mayor. The bylaw transfer from reserve, that was put in to cover off all of our different bylaws that we're doing, because right now to our contracted services is only 15,000. This adjustment in the bylaw is the removal of the transfer from reserves that was used to offset the RCMP costs. So we
that
moved
shouldn't
that.
be in bylaw, that should be in a different, cause it has not, that, like, that's not bylaw. That should be with like where the RCMP stuff is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's just some,
So this is for the RCMP, this is to offset the RCMP.
yes. Can we make a note of that, and we'll have to just check the wording on that, Deputy Mayor?
What do you want me to check the wording on?
No, not you, us. We can check the wording.
I'm like, I like to say loans, not debentures. I'm asking the wrong person. So then the contracted services for 15 grand, that's for our bylaw.
That is our bylaw, so that's correct. And then supplies and materials are just perhaps some folders, whatever that we use for that
So
service.
can we really look into, and just to make sure, can we really look into the bylaw? And we looked over the contract of what the hourly is. So from my understanding, we pay this individual that comes into our community an hourly, however many hours they're here for, correct?
Yeah.
And we're budgeting 15 grand. Can we for sure, like, so our actual was 87.88 for, so half of what we budgeted for, what, like, this might be something we may, like, I really think that we should highlight this and possibly maybe just a suggestion, see if we could possibly link up with a closer bylaw officer or someone that's, you know, in the area a little bit more, like, you know what I
That's
mean?
from the corner, right?
We're through Strathcona, which is like a 40-minute drive. So
Mr.
that's
Mayor,
like an hour to drive, hour back, right?
Vermont only has one guy.
Yeah, which
So
is,
that's only.
Mr. Mayor, through the Deputy Mayor, yeah, for bylaw, it's complaint based, right? So if somebody has a complaint about, I'll use this one, dogs barking or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a charge for them to come out and deal with that. So it is a complaint based fee that we're paying.
yeah, I'd like a breakdown though, to see, like, that $8,000, is that complaint based or is that like a speeding ticket? Failing to yield,
breakdown.
I'd like to look at that too, because if they're saying that the bylaw's only coming out for when we call them, which is. I don't know, not cool, because I think that they should be at least making a
Right.
certain amount of trips to our community if we're paying, we have a contract. We'll have to look into that contract
I
further,
will.
see what it is, right?
And I will have to, I'll dive into that. I'll see if we can find that breakdown.
Because like
Um,
our bylaw, our CMP costs, that stuff is the stuff that is like.
Yeah.
Bringing us down, so I think that's the main things that we're gonna have to really dig into
Yeah.
and figure out. What's going on.
And then, yeah, like their presence will be a deterrent for, you know, whatever activity, criminal activity or people breaking the law, right? So there's gotta be some kind of proactive, I don't know, clause or something for them to come in even when they're not called.
That's something that we can review.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Perfect, awesome, thank you.
I have one here for the bylaw for the dog tax. $2,500 is what we're expecting to get. It costs our employees in town, it costs us more than $2,500, all the work we have to put about people paying the dog tax. I mean, you got a bunch of people that don't pay, then you have to chase them around, they tell you they're not gonna pay, and then you keep chasing them around to no ends, a lot of people don't even pay. A lot of municipalities have moved to a one in a lifetime dog tag fee. I think it would be, we actually will save money if we move to that model. Of you move into town, you pay for your town tag for your dogs until your dog dies of old age. Instead of every year having to dedicate our resources of chasing people down, paperwork, I mean, there is a lot of admin stuff behind the license of this. Like for $2,500, I don't think it's worth it. So I don't know if this is the meeting to decide that or not, but I think it would be better if we move to the model of once in a lifetime fee. You know, you come to town, we wanna know what dogs you have. You come in, you register your dog is registered the day it dies. And we avoid every year manpower hours of, I mean, just to chase people around.
Mr. Mayor, through the councillor, Chris, I know for sure we don't spend hours going out there looking for dog
My
tags.
wife used to do it, I know for a fact that you do.
Oh, okay, I'm not privy to that, but, I guess that would be to the will of council. We would have to look
I
at
think
what
it's up for
some,
another day, but let's take note of it.
Or just say, Sharman, could you just, or Natalie or whomever, look up the information, like get pricing on doing a yearly thing?
Yeah.
Is that something you guys could
We
just
can do that.
Yeah, there you go.
The price for you?
Yep, that's good.
Bring
And that's
information back
something we
to
can
us.
bring back, right, to council for
Absolutely.
final.
Any more on this page?
Okay, we'll move on to disaster services. This one here, I am going to ask council's indulgence. There is a huge variance on wages and we were just prompted by this the other day when we were doing all the totals. I need to find out why that went up and I really don't have an answer for that. So
That was your
before
question?
anybody asks me, that number will not be there. That doesn't make sense.
We're talking the
So,
wages one?
yep,
Yeah, 49,000.
Benefits and that are,
Big,
those are the
big
two
red
that are-
flag on that.
yeah. So I have to determine, when I say we have to determine where that went, where was that coming from? I don't know. So,
Anything else on that page, guys?
So these things that we're tabling right now, because we have to do some research, are we gonna talk about it in the May meeting, or we're gonna talk about it in the January meeting?
January.
Okay, good.
Yeah. We'll have a few more budget meetings, Councilor Cruz, prior to formalizing the budget.
Perfect.
Information. Anything else on this page that we see? I think we're done.
Thank you. We'll move on to planning and development. If there's anything that stands out there, please let me know.
Yeah, planning and development rezoning charges and subdivision. Nothing was budgeted for 2025. We spent $950 in 2025. Now we're gonna budget for 5,000 in 2026. Why is that?
It's a revenue. It's a crystal ball. That's revenue, not expenditure.
No, the 5,000 is revenue. It's coming in.
So that's what we're suspecting. Where do
We're
we think
hoping
that's
to
gonna
get.
come from?
I would say from some of the developments that all of council has overheard,
So
possibly.
if you look at like in 2025, like we didn't say like we were gonna do anything. We left it at 0.
Yep.
Right? Why can't? So we're being a little more proactive, not thinking that this is coming in. Why wouldn't we just leave it at 0? Like we don't know what's for sure gonna happen. And
We
I get a lot of this isn't, but at least we have numbers to go off of. This is
Yep.
really, we don't have much numbers to go off of.
It could be as massaged later.
It can be. I just suspect this is due to some of the information that council's been hearing, so. So yes, certainly, again, and going back to what I said at the very beginning, here it is, we're gonna have a lot of time to play with this, so.
Yeah, it is revenue, but there is a foundation for this $5,000. You just didn't sit there and said $5,000. Where are we coming from with this $5,000, you know? If it is, it is. If it's not, we're setting ourselves for failure when we don't meet that budget.
Is that the meeting that you, me and Paul had?
Yes.
So there's possibly the Esso station and this and that, and that's where I think we're putting this down as.
All right, I would like to see the data if it's possible.
Well,
But we wouldn't have the data, and that data is personal
because we're
information.
hoping things will go forward. I think that's what
But
it's
it's
saying.
based
Yeah.
on.
It's based on,
Faith?
It's actually been announced.
I would, hang your hat on this number because it's just, if it comes to us, it comes to us.
There's some kind of analysis have been,
I mean, you can put it.
I'd rather have 0 than be like, whoa, look, we got an extra $5,000.
a revenue budget is basically a goal, guys. I mean, having a revenue budget, a goals revenue budget is bad for everybody. You're expecting to get this, you make plans and expenses based on what you're expecting to get.
Certainly put it on our list and then maybe we revisit it and put it, adjust it to 0.
And we
I think
definitely
that's our
can do
wish.
that.
I mean,
We can
it's not a
definitely
big
do that.
deal. Not on this one. Let's move on. Anything else on this page, guys?
Oh, there's a lot more, but we need to move on, so move on.
What? Is that it? That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next one is economic development.
Oh, a lot of hands going up. That Dennis, go first, sorry.
You just ask for questions.
Dennis, would you like to speak or should? we-
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at my notes here. So this is, the economic development increase is a strategic push for business attraction and retention. It ensures the town has the necessary expertise and capacity to drive economic growth. Again, I would say that staff has been allocated over to this GL. From other GLs, and those salaries would have went down. That's what I see here, but I will, if council's agreeance, I would like to flag this one and
It
review
is
this
flagged.
as well.
Yeah, because it's an increase in it for sure.
Yeah.
And that's like, that's almost like a whole new wage, like a whole individual under there,
Yeah.
like who's the new individual that's
Yeah.
under wages and economic development? I could get like, maybe tossing in like 15 grand there for someone who's in there like under part-time, but that's almost another wage.
Right.
Yeah.
Flag it.
That one is flagged, and we'll dig into that one.
Any other concerns on this page? Good.
Thank you. Next one is library. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Transfer to library, 13,000. For expense with no revenue coming in, so it's just an expense to the town. Any questions?
I think we're good. Thank you.
So funding from tax requirements or legislation, this is our administrative summary, so. We're here. So this is a summary of administrative funding allocated across various departments through municipal taxes. So legislation has 115, administration 147. It's right in front of you. I don't think I need to read each one down,
Yeah.
but that's the cost of doing for the whole town.
You good with this page?
Just a suggestion, if we're going on to operations next, should we just break now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just need a motion to take.
Motion that we break for, how long are we breaking?
30,
Half an hour, 30 minutes? For lunch?
all in favor? Carried. Lunchtime. Thank you. At this time, do we make a motion to come back into session? Or after the break?
My motion that we go back into open session.
All in favor? Carried. Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. So we'll move on to the next slide here, to the next part of this. This is operations. And you can see that the operations are broken down into departments. That's sidewalks and trails, roads, parking lots, water, sewer, storm, fleet, and equipment. So you'll see that wages are lower in the 2025 actual based on 2 retirements, one in May, one in October. So the salaries are down for this year.
Right.
They will recover most of those norms we predict for next year. But again, in the common services, we reallocated percentages of people's salaries. So you might see some come up, but others go down just because we reallocated a percentage of their salaries. Are there anything on that? There's a lot of GLs here. So is there anything on this common services one, Dana?
So building maintenance in 2025, we budgeted 10,000. So we only actually to the date have spent 56, just under 56 or just over 600.
Yeah.
Do we still have to allocate like to keep it at 10 grand?
Mr. Mayor, through Deputy Mayor, I would like to keep that in there because that was actually scheduled for East Trough. We have no East Troughs on the Public Works building. So ice, water, it makes a mess, and we just redid the pavement in front. I could not find somebody that would do the commercial East Troughs. Everybody was too busy this year. So I would like to carry that over as a budget number for next year.
Okay, so then go down to the next one, same kind of question. We budgeted 10, we're at 400.
That number will change. And again, this is as of December 2nd. I know of 2 invoices that are coming forward, but it'll be about half of that. And again, the contracted equipment maintenance is stuff like tires or anything that we go to a contractor to get put on some of the equipment. And it's broken down into several areas, roads, common services. So historically, that number usually gets eaten up. But again, and I want to assure council that at the end of the year, there will be some surplus. That's where you get to allocate into reserves, which is good to have.
So, and again, like with, so we can have historic, like what was 2024's for those?
We can put a column and we can do this. We can do all this and put another column of 2024 in it. That helps.
Yeah, cause like I said, if it's happened, if it's been staying 500 in the last 3
Oh,
years,
no.
why are we
Yeah.
doing it, right?
Okay.
And then same kind of thing, cause well, for rentals and leases, what is that like for?
That's for So this year I didn't get a packer. We used our own, but that's typically for a road packer. Or if we have to rent a generator, emergency lights, that's in there, that gets eaten up very
So
quickly.
if we have the option to use our own, why are we contracting out?
We don't have a packer.
Do
You
you,
said you
Yeah.
used it, you used our own.
We have a tamper, but we don't have like a roller, like a steamroller. We'll
So
call
you're
it, right?
saying you used the tamper instead of.
That's right, yeah. For the simple reason that at United, we couldn't get one, they're all out.
But you did say that you used ours instead of rent.
Sorry, I meant to say
That's what she,
tamper.
yeah, she got the clarity.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Then it's the contracted equipment maintenance. Is that for that equipment you include in there, the town trucks and all that?
Yeah, so that could be, it could be a number of things, could be the grader, it could be the loader, it could be whatever. It's just kind of a blanket GL so that it gives us some flexibility. If we run low on roads, then we could move it over to common services. And the auditors are actually very good with that.
And do we have a contract with certain supplier, supplier or service provider to maintain this equipment, or is one of those that when it breaks, we shop around and see who is the best and do it?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, through to Councilor Acosta. So what we do is our mandate, if it's day-to-day general supplies, as local as we can, we try to spend local and spread it around, which we do a very good job of. If it's specific, let's say to the grader, which is a John Deere, I will call in Brent, who is our John Deere dealer in Edmonton. They will be the expertise to come in if it's something that we can't fix. Does that help answer the question?
Yeah, it does. So have we shopped around for more local vendors? Like,
We do. We buy local where we can.
Cause I think what he's getting at is that's music to our ears, is that we want it to be as local as possible. I mean, and that goes everything from a pencil to a pizza, so,
And Mr. Mayor, Councilor Acosta, like, one thing I can say is there's a lot of flexibility with most rural communities is, of course, you're gonna be spending a little bit more in a rural community than you would, let's say, Fort Saskatchewan. But you put it within reason. If it's only 10% more than what you would pay in Fort Saskatchewan, why wouldn't you buy it out here? Right? There's other attributes that come with that. They have to pay shipping to get it here. And so we try to, my main aim has always been to buy local, so.
yeah, and that's what I was going. I mean, if we had a contract, let's say, for our service vehicles, so the pickup trucks, we have a contract with the Fort Saskatchewan shop. Can we find, no,
Yeah,
Just
I see what
for-
you're saying. Yeah.
can we look around, when was the last time we put that contract out for bid? I mean, most municipalities put things like this out for bid. Somebody that will be a preferred vendor to do the maintenance in our vehicles. Have we done that? Do we do that?
No, you'll find the smaller municipalities do not do that. Majority of the work, when it comes to routine maintenance, oil changes, grease, we do that. We, as staff, do that. Operations.
do it in shop?
We do it in
Oh, nice.
house. Yep.
Good.
And I just got all my crew taught on how to do the heavy duty equipment, which I did have to farm out. We are doing that now ourselves.
Nice.
So
Good.
we're
Music
looking
to
at,
our ears,
yeah,
like you
we're
say.
saving some more dollars.
That's good.
Is there anything more on this page?
for supplies and materials, how come when we originally quoted, we budgeted 11.5, we're at just over 7? How come we're budgeting higher now? It's not much, but every dollar matters, I guess.
So common services, supplies and materials can go to some equipment. Our equipment is getting older. Something like that would be weed whippers, and that wouldn't come under the Parks Rec, because a weed whipper or a backpack blower, we try to replace those every 3 or 4 years. That's where that falls under. Next year, we do see an increase in some of the equipment that we have to
are we
purchase.
replacing them because of necessity or
Just
we have a
just
building?
wore out. They're just wore out. Little 2-stroke motor, they're
No, I
done.
get it, I bought one.
And I think we can all safely say you've seen we're out almost daily with the backpack blowers, and so they were out.
I mean, these numbers aren't huge, but like
No.
Dana says, unfortunately, you got a new budget there, a new council that's gonna look at everything. So
100%.
bear with us.
Nope.
Anything else on this page that council sees? Dana,
I'm good.
okay?
They're high numbers, but it's stuff you need, right? Nothing here seems outrageous.
It costs money to do business.
100%.
So roads, this is the next one is roads. You'll see, everything pretty much staying the same. We see a little bit more in the equipment maintenance. That one there I am attributing to the grader on the road equipment maintenance because we did have some unexpended expenditures come up on the grader. So it is getting older. It is just about 20 years old now. So
Grader is,
yeah. So we had some issues with the moldboard this fall that we found. Just something that just happened. So I want to make sure we stay ahead of it. Again, with that road equipment maintenance skid steer, it's getting older. We've had that 6 years now. We're finding that we're putting more cost to it. Sorry, more repairs to it.
I'd like to talk to the contracted services snow removal. I'm under the impression we have a pretty nice gravel truck right now.
Well, we have a gravel truck. I wouldn't go as far as
Isn't that the shiny one with the shiny
that
box?
shiny one has just about 300,000 miles on it.
Well, it looks nice.
Yeah.
Does good job keeping it clean, obviously, but would we be using that with our loader to remove snow?
We do use that truck for the corners, like for when we do, let's say the arena. We use our own truck to haul that out. We don't take a contractor to do that. That truck is an older truck and it is costing us more and more money each year to get CFIP. Just due to its age.
Okay, because optics are everything, right? People drive by and thinking we just bought it last year.
Oh, no.
It kind of looks like that to me. That's why I'm asking. Now, it looks like it could go run forever, which, you just explain yourself, and they don't. I just want to make sure before we contract out, I mean, can we handle this? Yes, no, I guess that's your
Snow
call.
removal for an actual snow cycle? No.
Okay.
No.
No, I'm not saying for the whole, winter, but
The truck, so Mr. Mayor, that tandem, it's used actually quite often because if we get good snowfalls, if you look over at the arena and over by the United Church there, different areas of town, we haul that out. Corner spots, like when we come to corners, we do that. So that truck is.
why would we haul it out if it's out of the way? What's the purpose?
They don't get out of the way with it. So usually on the corners, we end up creating blind spots.
Okay.
And people have come to operations said, hey, we can't see coming out in the street. Can you get rid of those piles? The other reason we would get rid of the piles is for obvious reasons, storm drainage. We don't want to have water running into the arena and that floor. So
And you reallocated some, the wages you said.
we did.
Where did you pull that from?
But just percentages from
There's a
different.
lot more increase in the wages than there is lower.
Well, if you look, you went back to common services, I think it decreased, did not.
Looks like one of the. And then equipment maintenance, is that like your standard, like oil change business?
Yeah, so it could be, or a repair to if a bearing blows, or it's anything to do with the equipment.
What's with the streetlights? What do we have so much?
So that's our power bill, like road street lights. That's what we pay per year to Fortis. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it just to keep them up or
Yeah.
this is replacement and maintenance and?
Yeah, so Fortis has, we don't get a charge if our lights, a bulb burns out, Fortis pays, that's them, that's on them. That's part of our franchise agreement.
You think that only three gram increase is good enough? I mean, this goes backward to everything. We've been talking about getting costs reduced, but I think it's ambitious just for 3 grand if everything have changed so much, right?
Yeah, and I think we're okay. I would just leave it there. I haven't seen much of an increase from Fortis year from year. And again, I just want to stress, like, I know a few years ago, we had problems with some of the power poles here leaning. That's no cost to us, but they come out, they straighten them, that doesn't cost us. That's part of that agreement.
So this is just running cost.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions on this page?
I do.
Arlie, Councilor Arlie.
So the last 2 pages, I see there's a budget for carbon tax fuel.
Oh, where are we at?
Oh, carbon tax levy?
Carbon tax levy, yeah.
Okay.
And also on the previous page, there is carbon tax fuel. So total meal tax is up to $4,600. I'm assuming they're gonna go to zero.
They are, yeah, that was just taken from the prior year.
Okay, no, that's perfect. That's, thank you.
Any questions? Anyone else?
Got me off guard. What, where?
What? What good?
No, I wasn't sure which page you were
He
looking at.
said page, you meant to say line, I think.
No, in the page before too, there is a carbon tax line there for 2,500.
Looking now possibly at the parks, is that where we're going?
That's where we were going next,
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Okay, so the actual, what was budgeted in the actual, that was due to a retirement. Well, it was actually June, late May, June. That's why that number's so low. So we kept it with that, conservatively, we kept
We're talking
it.
wages now?
I'm just trying to go through that with something that might stand out. And I throw it back to council if there's anything else they can see that stands out.
Somebody retired in June, so the actual went down, but we're still budgeting pretty much the same amount for next year.
We
Hire
will have,
somebody?
we will need another operator. We're down 2 operators. We haven't replaced anybody yet, so. And I just do want to draw your attention to something, so at least I've said it and everybody knows I've talked about it. Testing lead control. So you're gonna see that number, I've increased it by 5,000. We need to do something about the ground squirrels, we'll call them ground squirrels, gophers. We have spent immense amount of hours. We did manage to, I think it was the 1,100 we removed last year, I think is what it came up, just 1,100 and change. But the amount of hours, and I think Deputy Mayor, she didn't see what we were doing. Like we were spending day after day after day, every day in there. I think that we need to get an exterminator out to just.
Don't we have a contract with Strathcona anymore, or is it
No.
gone?
No, Strathcona won't, they say they don't have time to do it anymore. Because they've gone down in their staffing in their.
But if we did, so you're saying that we did all this work, we're standing at 30, just over 3,800.
Yeah, that was for smoke bombs. The rest of it, the labor doesn't get charged that, it goes back towards salaries, right?
Yeah, which is up top.
Yeah.
And we still stayed under,
We did,
so why are we increasing?
because I would like to bring in, an exterminator. So that we can do other things other than killing gophers all day.
What's do you have have you looked around?
Yeah, I've called like the key people just
We
to
will
get some
talk.
rough ideas and just.
But like you can get an exterminator, like there's still if we're still budgeting 10. Like
Oh,
we only use like $4,000, like how much is an exterminator to come into our community?
Your 15,000, like worst case scenario.
That's the worst case scenario. They're,
For an exterminator, that's not including any other.
but I also have weeds I have to take care of here. So what was given to me verbally was anywhere between 7,000 and 10,000 to come in and I gave them on acres that we had. And again, there's no express guarantee because if the gophers move back in, but we need to get ahead of it. And that's what seems to always bite us in the rump is they start being born. And it's just, it's impossible. And it's not just at the ag grounds, it's happening on their school ground property too.
We have noticed a difference, like you can tell that you guys put in a lot of work last
Oh,
year, like
yeah.
we noticed a difference in the soccer fields with the gophers, for
Okay.
sure.
I definitely think we should explore that.
Yeah.
And this is when the ball diamonds are being used, those gopher holes cause injuries
Big time.
and everything, their liability, right? And if it'll help us maintain those fields so we can use them more, that could be a benefit.
So I think you give you a good explanation of why the increase and where it's going,
Yeah.
so
Thank you,
it-
Dennis.
it's money probably needed to be spent and possibly well spent, so. Good observation,
Well, it will free up our resources to use them somewhere else.
that's what he's getting at.
We're gonna be bringing
so
that up,
we
come closer, like when they start, I'm gonna bring it up like I do all the time with the gophers.
I'll always expect that phone call sometime in August.
Any more on this page? Thank you, Dennis, moving on, next one.
Okay, so we're gonna go into the revenues for the recreational program. So these are events that are town hosted. So we'll start with Oktoberfest. You can see that we anticipated a revenue stream of 10,000. We actually brought in 20,000. So we'll have a surplus there. We buy on Canada Day donations, we budgeted 1,000, but we actually received 4,000. I'm just rounding it off, guys.
This is from like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like donations and
Grants?
sponsorships from.
Yeah.
Okay,
the
what's the
events.
word I'm looking for?
Grants?
Industry,
Industry.
from industry around us,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
So that one's a very self-explanatory page. If you'd like me to explore it more, I can.
I don't think we're gonna
the
argue
next
about
one is-
revenue.
Next one is the one.
So this is now our expenditures. So again, we budgeted.
Give me a second.
So on October first, we budgeted 10,000, but we spent 17,000. But if you go back to the revenues, that will offset it. So we're still be 10,000 ahead on the revenues for Oktoberfest. Let's see. I want to see if there's anything outstanding. Nope, that I can see that I would want to bring up, but perhaps.
Yeah, I have a couple of things here. So we have Indigenous relationships. We budget $3,500 for next year. Indigenous relationships, we do 2 events, one in June 21st, one in September 30th. In June 21st, 8 people show up. In September 30th, 4 people showed up. The year before, we did one of those 2 events in conjunction with the Ag Society, and we had a good turnout. When we did it ourselves, nobody showed up. I don't know how many actually Indigenous families are in town, but they don't show up to the events. So do we want to keep spending the money when nobody shows up? We have a bunch of people there making, I mean, not a bunch, 4 people making money. And then we have to bring elders that we have to pay them in cash or beef.
Yeah.
That's not a joke.
Tobacco.
Yeah, we have to buy specialty tobacco. We have to go through. This is not an event that you just plan and bring a couple of trucks. This you have to respect a lot of beliefs and religious whatnot. So do we want to keep budgeting for this one when it's a no case?
So, Mr. Mayor, through to Councilor Kusa, I would put that back to council if that's something you have it before you.
I think
It's
it's something
something
we'll
that
be
you
looking at.
guys want to chew and digest and figure out this is what you want. You can bring that back to us and ask us to remove it or give us some alternative ideas.
Well, that might be the better of the two with the alternative ideas, and that way it's showing some interest. But
Yeah.
we didn't just say no. But it brings up a very good point. I mean,
Absolutely.
Is we're spending time is money, and we're spending the time of the people at the office. We're spending time bringing elders and bringing people here, and then nobody shows up. I mean, it makes the town not look too good.
it might make more sense to combine, add an event and add them into it and say this is part of that day. And then that way we can offset it.
And I'm sure our ag person would be more than happy to
Yeah.
entertain something like
Leave them
that.
word. Councilor Bennett.
Is the Alberta Days covered by a grant?
I can speak to that. Alberta Days, yes, we apply for a grant for $5,000 and we usually get the $5,000. So
Yeah.
the expenses offset the revenue on that one.
I love my province. What is Alberta Days?
So Alberta Days is the one day that the government of Alberta allows communities to apply for a grant, and it's expected that you're doing something to celebrate Alberta's heritage.
It's
So
near
it's
my house.
$5,000 every year, guarantee you get it, and then I guess if we don't do anything with the $5,000, we'll get in trouble, but it covers
You
it.
have to spend
It covers.
$5,000 and you have to give a report afterwards.
It
about
has
what
to be
you
a
spent.
certain day too. right?
Yes, it has to be the August long weekend. And so we usually work, because that's usually when the Model Ts are. So we work with them to figure out when we'll have our event, so we don't conflict with them, because they don't want it to be the same day.
This year was the day after the car show. Remember the big car show, the day after? I got more here. I go.
Carry on.
Family Day. Cancel it. It's minus 1,000,000 degrees on Family Day. We put the money, we don't get anything. And I'm telling you, last year, we rented equipment and everything was outdoors. And we lost the money because you have a contract with this vendor that is gonna bring the laser tag equipment, yada, yada. I personally picked it up in my vehicle and brought it to town, and I personally brought it back to that guy unused because we had to cancel it because of minus 30 degrees. I think that money we're putting here in budget, $3,000 for Family Day, we should allocate it somewhere else and just cancel it.
Can we put an asterisk there? We're gonna adjust it.
If I can make another alternative idea to that, Mr. Mayor, through the Councilor Krista, would be perhaps if we're doing family day and it is in the winter. And again, this is a huge crystal ball. We don't know what the weather is like from one day to the other, but perhaps we could look at an alternative location. If it's not in use, is have something like that at the community center. It's another possibility. I'm not ruling out, maybe you guys don't want it.
It's the second weekend of February, it's always cold,
Yeah.
always cold.
So there are some alternative ideas here that I think you should explore, but if you don't want it in the budget or you don't want to have to do this, I'm gonna leave that to the will of council.
The other one I have here is Remembrance Day. I'm not gonna say to cancel it, don't worry. They shouldn't. But Remembrance Day, everything is free. I mean, the church provides the food, the band comes for free, everything is free, and we're allocating $3,000 of the budget for it. I understand we need a contingency in case the church can't afford the food that year. I think $3,000 is too much money to allocate in the budget for that. I think half will be plenty. But that's,
If I may, Mr. Mayor, through the Councilor Krista, Sherry, could you give a better explanation why we've been budgeting that much? So you
Yes,
guys raise the questions.
yes, yeah, I concur with you. I would like to see an amount in there at the will of council, just in case that food cannot be provided. But that being said, it has been said in the past that maybe we don't need to provide a lunch. Personally, as a person that's been doing Remembrance Day for a number of years, I think it's really important that we do that. If we invite our military, and this year we didn't have a contingency, we'd be able to make it out, but we have in the past. And it is a great time for us to promote our community and to build those relationships. And so just having that brief lunch after is really important. I can say that this year, when I reached out to the churches, they gratefully came forward. But I think the day is coming where they're going to need some help financially with providing a lunch.
we have to feed the band too.
Yeah, and we have to feed the band, and the band is a great addition to our.
Yes.
Huh?
I wasn't there, I was out of town.
No Kiss or Zeppelin or anything like that. It's just a military. But no, I mean, I just think 3,000 is a little bit too much.
1,500.
I mean, if we're keeping it just because it was 3,000 last year, I mean, and next year 3,000, I think 1,500
I
will
think
be
that's,
plenty.
and I think that's a reasonable request. You want to just make a note of that, Natalie? We'll drop that to 1,500.
Yep.
We'll bring it back with an adjusted number.
These numbers that were, or you put asterisks on the numbers if possible, if they're making notes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Thank you.
How come there's oh, sorry, Lester, are you done? Or- You're good? How come there's two Oktoberfests? Fest.
Oh, I can tell.
October and not October. There's two of them.
So,
Fall festival.
yeah. So I think that's just the GL hasn't been corrected, and even though something was coded toward that, it should only be one. So we'll have Sharon adjust the GL listings for that.
And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because I think it just turned to October. Fall Festival, Oktoberfest.
And I still want to see numbers on the on Oktoberfest to see how many people actually came in, and if it makes sense for all that work that was put into Oktoberfest.
Do you have a number?
Actually, that information's come to council on a briefing note on the December meeting.
Perfect,
Yeah,
yeah, because I
because it
think
was
that way then
requested.
we can make your decision, because I know there was a lot of work that was put into that, and reaching out to industry and a lot of money. And how many people actually came? Is it feasible to run that? Like, it was a great time, don't get me wrong.
So
but
that was, I was like, you talking about the dinner or the activities?
Everything, that day of thing.
Yeah, sold out.
Well, the dinner definitely sold. So
The dinner sold,
No,
I don't think it did.
I thought it
didn't
did.
sell out.
The dinner didn't sold out. It
We
didn't.
did not. No, all that information has come to council on a briefing note because it was a request from council
Yeah,
last meeting.
yeah.
Okay. Yes, so does that answer your
We had
question?
$10,000 onto Canada Day too. Just kidding, better, more fireworks. Just kidding.
Clear that up, but yeah.
I love fireworks.
Okay, so the next one we will go on to is, thank you.
No.
So is the Infinity Building, again, this is operating, not capital. That's another discussion we're having soon. So these are wages are what's allocated to maintain the building and how much time we spend there. Contracted services, our cleaning services, what have you. Other than that is very straightforward, but I leave it to you to ask any questions.
Well, of course, this is a bit of a sore spot for me is, apparently there's repairs with it.
And you'll see that come up in the capital, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Okay, well,
What are these wages? What are they doing? Like what?
Community center wages.
Yeah.
So this
like-
would be, so that's a portion of administrative costs, so to put together the utility bills. It could be us attributing so much percentage of our time shoveling snow, changing furnace filters. The maintenance, that's all, everybody's wages allocated into that area.
I get that, but office expenses for do we do anything there? I thought we rented it out. I mean, this is me just asking. $1,200 on office expenses for the Infinity Center.
So office expenses would be phone lines, like monthly bills on the phone lines,
Okay.
keep those open.
So we're literally making $8,000 in here.
Yeah.
And we charge an average rent of $1,500 a month between the two businesses that are there, because 1,900.
Roughly.
Need to increase that rent to find a better use or find more tenants or something.
Well, we do have 2 more offices vacant now. I think historically they were being rented out at 600 a month.
And again, out of curiosity, do we do any advertisement about, hey, we have a couple of offices empty here in town, if you guys wanna rent it?
We used to, but I'm not sure of recent, and I'd have to ask the girls to, I wouldn't know, I know we used to, for sure.
That building is an asset that is sitting there that we could be collecting a little bit more money.
Been
I think
raised-
we didn't advertise. But anyway, is there anything else outstanding on this one?
well, other than being a money pit,
Yeah.
anybody else have any questions on the Infinity Center?
Can we go back to programs for just a moment to help council understand something?
If council.
More back to where?
Programs.
Can we go back to programs to just ask a question?
Programs,
I just wanna,
or back to that.
Just one page.
just one page.
Okay.
I just wanna help council to understand. So for example, on Canada Day, where it says that we have 7,175 put into the budget. So if you look at the revenue that we say we're coming in for Canada Day, it's about $1,000. And if you spend $5,000 on fireworks, just so you know, that means we have about $2,000 to offer any activities on Canada Day. So I just want you to think about that when you're doing, because sometimes when we're planning these events, it gets difficult, right? I heard the word fireworks come up again. And last year we had fireworks twice. But that's $5,000 each time. So when you're looking at what you're allocating over here, just know then you really reduce what we can do that day to draw people to our community.
One of those was purely donated by Seal. They bought the entire fireworks show.
Just so you think about that, right? Because that happened this year, but it might not have happened, but it was the will of council that we
My
spent.
person called Seal, they'll get $5,000 again.
Just so you know.
Canceling Christmas next year, so we can have more fireworks on Canada Day, sorry.
There is a lot of industries around here that are willing to donate money, and especially for things like Canada Day and
Gotta do
Oktoberfest.
some legwork here.
Yeah, just for budgets, just so you know.
Yeah. Any other concerns on that topic?
Well, if I can, for a second, where in here is the drop-in programs? Is that in miscellaneous events? Or no, yeah, is it? Okay, good.
I think the Infinity Center is.
Yeah.
Moved on.
So we'll move on to the community hall. Okay, let's see. I don't think anything stands out here too much. You will see hall supply rental, that number, surprised it's not changed during, when's this slide done?
Just need a second.
So you'll see we budgeted hall supplies rental 4,000, shows actual, that's not correct. So what that means, hall supplies rentals is pots, pans, replacing with pots, pans. Sherry and I have been over the last 2 years trying to replace stuff that's 40 years old. We have bread knives falling apart. So that number will go up to almost what we budgeted for by the end of this year. We've been buying, Sure, you have to help me out. We bought a whole bunch of utensils.
We bought
for sure.
utensils and we bought pots and stuff to make the kitchen more serviceable, because what we hear from people when they come in to rent, there's not supplies there, and it's not a
Or
kitchen
weddings or.
that
Got
goes.
a ton of bowls though. We got a lot of bowls.
So other communities have caterer inside the facility. Have we ever done that? Should we put a caterer in there that said, this is your kitchen? And you bring the supplies and you cater out of there? But then it doesn't, I know it does, but I mean, that's then, you know, like to go through her, you have to go through that one caterer. I mean, Lamont does it, right? And they've got, I think, Elk Island Catering that works out of the hall.
Yeah,
And
no other caterers.
I'm just wondering if there's a benefit or not a benefit of having one caterer, and then you're telling me probably not, so.
No, I don't think there is, because we still have to supply all the supplies for it, right?
Cause I'm pretty sure Ironwood would probably, if they'd had the opportunity, maybe they would have went into the hall and worked out of there, I don't know, but. Just a suggestion and thoughts.
I know Lamont, I have been to down Lamont's Hall, Community Hall quite a few times for functions, but they do have their own equipment that whoever may be doing the catering there, but they do have bowls, plates, all that for us. I think that's what we're trying to just replace what's old and much needed, right? I think if a caterer came in there, Mr. Mayor, I think we'd still have to supply that, but I can't be for sure.
Something that we need to, I think, is one of the emails that I got in the past is, we underutilize our hall. And we need to try to get that fuller as a revenue, you know, and then, like you say, it might have something to do that there's nowhere to stay here, so we're not gonna have a wedding in Bruderheim, you know. I mean, the summer times it's good, but if, you know, you knew in the winter time that you could have a place to stay, maybe they would use our hall more. So, it's something we should.
To add to that, because I also have people reaching out to me about not renting the hall, and one of the things they don't want to rent the hall for is the deposit that the town keeps. For cleaning and whatnot. The problem is not the putting the deposit, the problem is that sometimes it takes 2 weeks for us to return that money to them in the form of a check. So a lot of people don't have that extra $500 just to dump there for 2 weeks. So one thing I think we should think of is the debit machine at the office should be able to credit back the money like every other debit machine in the planet. We go there, you go do the walkthrough, every place is clean, you didn't break anything, boom, here is your money back. We're losing business because of a 2 week waiting that we have for having an antiquated system here.
I'm unable to give you a good response on that. Our finance person is
Hello.
ill today, so I can certainly pass that on to her and see how that works as far as AP goes. I couldn't give you.
Yeah.
No, I'm not expecting an answer, Dennis. It's just a matter of.
But I think we'll look into it. I think it deserves an answer because I think we got to figure that out. I'm not sure how that works. In
We
AP,
should
so,
improve on it.
Yeah. So we'll make a note of it and we'll get back to you on that, Councilor Klista.
Anything else on this page?
I didn't know.
Community hall.
No, we're good there.
Arena.
So we're moving on to the arena. So again, just to bring you a couple of notes here, you'll see that our actuals are 64. We budgeted 96 for revenue. That will change dramatically over the next 6 weeks. And even in the next 6 weeks, until we do December's billings, which we wouldn't see the final for January, that number, I do plan on it going higher than 96 due to some of the tournaments that, especially this tournament taking up all the ice time this weekend. So there are some benefits to that, to say the least.
I think we are too early in December to even count what November is gonna bring for this, and November, December are the heavier months in there. I think we're gonna do pretty good in there.
Yeah. Okay, and again, is there anything that stands out on the expenditure side? That was it's pretty lean there, so.
Sorry, what's our life of our arena? What's our plant life? Any idea how we're standing with that?
So, Mr. Mayor, through the rest of the council, that plant is now coming on its 10th year. I'm a little biased when it comes to that plant because it has the first couple of years was a very big struggle for it being a new plant. We are seeing some increased costs to maintain it. I lost a brine pump this fall. I do have a few issues going on with compressors, but again, they're 10 years, it's 10 years old. So we try to maintain that in our budget. for refrigeration maintenance. We do have what's called a startup, mid-season and shutdown. That is contracted out because it's a specialty. Those costs are going up. I actually just received a letter the other day. So I will reflect that on the budget. But again, those are fixed costs, part of that fixed cost that we covered. The plant itself is a good plant. It's very finicky, and we've done a lot of work to it to maintain it the last 10 years.
Okay, so would it be in our best interest to probably have a contingency plan somewhere down the road here soon to, budget for the big hit?
I believe that we do have a dedicated reserve to our recreation, so that's where it would come out of. So, and I don't have that number just to remember what that would be, but I do believe that we also put away for that rainy day.
In the equipment maintenance, 2,500, we spent $0. Is that correct? We didn't spend anything on equipment maintenance?
No, that number is not correct. I know it isn't because I just coded something to it the other day. We did. Yeah. Equipment maintenance, so arena equipment maintenance, goalie nets, whatever.
With the activity that goes there,
I
it's
have
hard
to
to-
change the hinge on the gates or something. That's what that would go to.
Any other questions on the arena?
Okay, we'll move on to utilities.
Before we go there, Dennis, GL code 2735-4500, which is the carbon levy. When you add them all up, you have almost 12 grand. So if we remove that, since we don't have a carbon tax anymore.
I'm gonna check on this carbon tax.
I'm gonna wait to say this at the end of all that. Yeah, sure.
Let me check on this carbon tax levy. That's.
Yeah, we have pretty much,
What's throwing me here right now.
in every category there, we have a couple of bucks a year, 4,500 bucks there. So it's about 12 grand at the end.
Yep, so we'll move on to utility, if we're okay, can we move on to
I
utility?
think we're on to utilities, you guys.
Yep.
Everybody on to
Yep.
utilities? Everybody okay with moving on? Go ahead, CAO.
Thank you. So this is the budget report with revenues and expenditures, and who is on the John Patoot primary and secondary, correct? Have you heard anything, before I get into this, have you heard anything of an increase in water purchasing?
I only had one meeting and I missed one meeting.
Okay.
We haven't gone through budget yet.
Okay, good. So I would ask if you could, there will be, I suspect, an increase due to some of the upgrades. Let me know, and then I can adjust the budget on the revenue end of it, or sorry, the purchasing end of it when we buy from the Patoot. I
Yeah.
always factor that into
Yeah,
it.
because we had orientation and then some legality stuff
Okay,
and the last time, and then I wasn't. Yeah.
We were here.
Yeah.
Gary?
But are you hiring anyone for the water for the wages? I'd like that job.
110 grand?
Yeah, I'll take that.
You know how much water you gotta shovel? for?
I wish. Okay, so this one, I just have to see here, if I did it increase so many numbers here. So I did show a little bit of an increase there. You'll see deputy mayor, what we were just talking about. We budgeted 214, I budgeted 219, just in case we get hit with that per cubic meter charge. And again, that was that lovely word, crystal ball.
So 2.5% is okay.
And that one's very straightforward. Is there any questions on that one?
There's not.
Okay, then I will move on to sewer. Again, nothing there stands out big that I can see. Sewer supplies and materials, before Deputy Mayor said anything, that number will go up. So we are on now a new program for treatment on our lagoons. And that's something later on next spring I'll be talking to you more about. But we are buying more chemicals to treat our lagoon based on the age and how much it's being used. So
Guess the other one I'm gonna ask you about.
there's storm supplies, that one. Yeah, I have to look here. The power.
The last one, sewer transfer to reserves, 14 grand.
Those come out of the utility, so that's coming out of your revenues. So it's just a transfer from reserve internal, that's it. And you see that in the water as well.
Thank you.
I'll move on. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, moving on to McDermott, I think.
Thank you. So this one here, refuge, so this one here might change a little bit in terms of costs. And I want to say this slightly, costs to residents. So this year, this February, our contract comes due with our current provider, which is GFL. We have sent out tenders, if you will, for 4 companies to bid on providing us those services. We have not awarded it yet, but it's to say the least, that the numbers are going to stay the same. We don't anticipate seeing a waste or garbage, we'll call it garbage, increase. But we'll be meeting, Sharman and I will be meeting with them sometime in January to award that contract. So we don't see an increase, a big increase in garbage. Who's on the St. Michael committee, St. Michael landfill committee? Well, I got fingers pointing over here. You are? So if you could talk to Linda and just see, is there gonna be an increase or?
I meet with them next Saturday,
Okay,
first time.
that's the big thing that we'll need to know. That will affect what we bill here.
Got a question about garbage. Businesses in town pay the town for the garbage collection. Is that by design? I mean, most businesses pay directly to the supplier of the service. Why are we doing this work for the businesses?
Well,
Not that I wanna remove it right now. I
so they're
wanna
just
know
like
why.
like a resident. They own a piece of property. They have the option to rent a bin from us.
Okay.
To the town. They can go ahead and rent their own bin, but it would probably be in their best interest to rent it from us because we do get, if you will, a better price.
Okay.
And they have different bin sizes they can pick from. Any other questions on garbage?
What do you think?
Let's get out of garbage.
So I think since we're moving on to capital budget, maybe we'll stop for like 5-10 minutes.
Sure.
So we don't have capital.
You're making the motion.
Oh, it's a motion that we stop for 10 minutes.
I'll approve it.
We have about a half hour left to work.
Well, I'm back.
I
Yes,
motion that we go back into open session.
all in favor?
Thank you. So the next one, Mr. Mayor, Council, the next one will be our capital budget. So just to give you a little background on this one here, this is the one that I'll be presenting several options for council based on our grant funding, which is going to be through CCBF, LGFF, LGGF. Thank you. LGF and a variety of other grants. And I did put out in this slide presentation several potential capital projects. When we come back to our December 17th meeting is where I'll be asking council for an interim operating budget of 50% of the 2025 budget. But I will need an actual definite project. If you want to proceed with a capital project, I'll need that motion on December 17th as well. So before we start this, so now I'll go through it. So some of the capital projects that we're looking at this year is Brookside East. If you recall, most of you would.
What's the slurry seal? Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was just alluding to that, Mr.
Thank you.
Mayor. So if you recall, a couple of years ago, we started redoing some of the walking trails. In specific was the one in West Woodlands. We did the whole walking trail, re-slurried it to get extra life out of that asphalt. I personally have received very positive comments about that. And I would like to further keep the viability of the rest of the walking trails in town, which I call Brookside. That would be from the school going all the way into the cul-de-sacs 45th. So get the rest of the and just maintain. Eventually, I would say in the next 10 to 15 years, we are going to have to look at doing an overlay or a replacement. But
They say slurry still lasts about 7 to 10 years.
you know what? And it all depends on the weather, Deputy Mayor. It's weather dependent. Like we get a really harsh winter, and we have to use more brushing, more, it's just wear and tear. So, so there's that opportunity. Again, Sunset Trail work, slurry seal, that would finish off the rest of our trails. That's everything in town has now been slurry sealed. Arena. And these numbers, the costs will come with these in these slides. So arena resurfacer, we only had $25,000 to pay out for the, we'll call it the Zamboni last time. And I budgeted so much, I think another 20,000 to put a turnaround, because currently the operators are having to drive in. Let me correct that. They have to drive out and back up all the way in. That's way too unsafe. And it's a lot for them to do, especially when it's in harsh conditions, weather conditions. So we want to put a turnaround there so we can dump the snow. And again, keeping in mind, this would be grant funded, not taxation or taxes, right? Roads. So you'll see that 2 years ago, we resurfaced Queen Street and 52nd. That was a way of navigating through doing a full FDR, which is called a full depth reclamation. We did have engineering come in on those streets alone, and it would have been 10 times the amount of money we spent to resurface. So we bought ourselves some time. Again, what Deputy Mayor alluded to earlier, we bought ourselves 7 to 10 years before having to look at doing a full depth reclamation. I'm looking at the same on these roads. I've looked at the sewer films, the sewer cammering of these roads. So there would be low risk in having to resurface them or having to resurface them and all of a sudden have to dig up and replace the sewer line. So I'm looking at Rosenau Road, the Oasis, and the Oasis is the one part. I know when I came here in 2017, that was one part that we didn't capture in Brookside, just that one block from 45th to 49th, I believe, facing, well, it'd be on the east side of the apartments. So that's the one spot we tried spray patching it, I think in 2019, held it together with a variety of slurry seal, crack fill. It needs to be resurfaced, and that would be just a mill and overlay, 50 mil overlay in that area. And the other one is coming into Brookside. That was the other area that was missed in Brookside. Sorry, I don't want to say where you missed. It wasn't budgeted for when we did the rehab of Westwood Lands and Brookside. So that was the other area that I was looking at doing. Those costs will come forth. The force main is probably the top priority out of all the capital projects. That has come before a prior council. I'm bringing it forth to this council. We looked at the whole project last year in a number, and it came in at around $1.15 million to do the entire force main. What the force main is the main sewage from Brookside. All the sewage goes into a lift station on the northeast side of Brookside, northwest side of Brookside. And from there, it's pumped mechanically to our lagoon area. Don't quote me on the exact year, but I believe in around 2015, the force main broke on 50th and 52nd Avenue, and it has now been diverted into the gravity main. In essence, what that means is we're overloading our gravity sewer from the rest of town with Brookside. Brookside had its own dedicated sewer line to the lagoon. Now it's sharing another part of a main that wasn't ever designated for. This project here is, I've broken it into 2 phases because certainly 1.1, and in today's numbers, it could be 1.2 million. That's a lot of money for us to come up with. So on our last estimate, I believe it came in at 596,000 for phase 1. Phase 2, we could do a couple of years down the road. Phase 1 will not be the replacement of what's currently broken. It will be a replacement of what is currently operating. The reason we're doing that is if I replace what's broken, I'm putting more stress on the older line in the back end, if you will, the line that's still working. We could end up busting that and being a whole different ballgame. So we start at the lift station, replace what we know that works, still keep it going into the gravity, and in a couple of years build up, then we know what's broken. We don't want to put any more force on what we know is working before replacing it. Does that make sense to everybody?
But how do we know what's overloading it right now?
Because the gravity sewer main is only a 10-inch and it was designed for a certain amount of flow, and we're taking all that flow from Brookside, dumping it in there. For example, we have to flush that line yearly. It gets solids build up in order to not stop everybody else's sewer coming in from Main Street all the way down. It all heads this way, right? Everything from Old Town goes down to 52nd. It was designed for capacity of what we have now.
So when it failed, did it fail because of the age? Is
The
that
force main,
for sure? Did it fail because of a weakness in the pipe or something, or was it an installation error?
it's, so my understanding is, I haven't seen the actual report because this happened long before it came. But it's ductile iron and it's just falling apart. So they stopped, said, well, we don't want to keep, they actually dug, I think, around 20 meters and they stopped. Just let just divert it in. But the more we dig, the more the pipe's falling apart and it would have cost a lot more back then.
But this repair was done when? When we
Two
checked
2015,
it, and it's been holding up for that long?
it has, yeah, and I've been cameraing it just to watch it. So. Now, am I saying that's going to fail us next year? I couldn't give you that honest answer. I couldn't give you an answer.
You
on that.
can't say when it's gonna fail. You don't know.
I
You don't know.
can't, but I do know that half the line has failed, so. Do we want to wait? I think it would be prudent for us to stay ahead of the game. And repair what we know is still working, and then move on to the rest of the stuff. It's just something, we can't go without sewer, like.
It's something to be proactive
So just to
about.
give you an example, I have had this happen to me in a municipality. The sewer line failed. It cost the town. I have to go back to that, it's 2007. It cost us something like $18,000 a day for backflows.
But Dennis, was this not approved on the capital budget prior
This is,
to replace force main? It never was. I can't remember.
No, we went out for engineering on it, Deputy Mayor,
Yeah.
and we got the prices and we just didn't have it. Because we just didn't have enough dollars, we didn't have enough dollars back then. And then I decided to break it up into two parts to make it more cost efficient for us, because we don't have that kind of money. And that's what we've come up with is.
Can we go the same way with the funding like we did with our, like when we updated the water reservoir?
And I am trying that. I'm doing everything I can to look for grants right now. And actually I have one of our engineering firm is, she used to work with Alberta Transportation. And I just spoke with Rhonda 2 weeks ago and she's looking for grants.
Cause do we have to, like, does this one of the things that we have to approve in order for you to be searching and looking for grants and applying for grants for this?
This one there, you received it as information in the past, and if I came to you as this is a project, you would make a motion to proceed on the project based on funding ability. So based on what we have right now on LGFF and some of the CCBF, we would have enough funding in 2026 because we stacked our funding from last year. We didn't use very little of it, knowing that this could be coming up. So we will have another disbursement, if you will, of LGFF, and that would top us up to that 600,000. So keeping in mind that we'd be using all of it for
Okay,
the
but
sewer.
This is years ago when you went through the engineers and got pricing all that. This was
Nope.
quite a few years ago, right?
No, I just
You
went out,
just?
just
Okay.
like not. I sent it to our prior CEO. I do have a copy of it. It's 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, guys. But again, I don't know what's gonna happen with all these tariffs in January. These prices could get inflated again.
And that's
don't
the
know.
thing is, and if it does get approved and we say, yeah, we want this to be on our capital budget, but if it ends up being a substantial crazy amount now, you would have to bring it back to council and be like, this. Is what
Oh,
we
yeah,
want,
yeah, and I'm not, and you know, on the 17th, I'll be obviously talking with all of you and getting your ideas, and then you can come up with what you think. There are other important items, it's capital, but I'll go through them quickly. Lift station pump number 2. In 2025, we replaced the first lift station pump. That lift station is now 40 years old. The pumps are starting to wear down. They're way outlived their life expectancy. So this year we had capital funding for one. It's here now, hopefully to be installed within the next few weeks. And we're looking at putting in a second pump next year. So lift station heaters, we're using baseboard heaters, have been since I've been here. That's a low amount of money. You'll see that come up. But we need to get proper heat in that building because we have a generator there that supplies power to our lift station. Admin building, again, we have a couple of windows that are they're quite costly. That need to be replaced. The seals have let go of them and they frost over in winter, which actually becomes an energy efficiency issue as well as a lots of moisture in the building. The one that the mayor will be looking at, this one for sure, is the roof on the Infinity Center. So that one is one of our more costly infrastructure items that we need to discuss. And if I may, throughout this slide, I don't provide another option other than replacing the roof. There are options to repair further, but I've already done some repairs to it this year. And from what I'm understanding from the contractors that have done repairs, we're just putting Band-Aid over Band-Aid over Band-Aid. So it's just, we can continue to do it, but I just want council to be aware of what we're up against from that end of it. And the other one is the mower. So again, wear and tear, with these mowers, again, to keep the level of service we currently have, they're outliving their life expectancy. We'll move on to the next slide, which breaks it down a little further. So for the trails, as I talked about earlier, we're looking at 35,000. Sidewalks is already under operating. It's just maintenance. That's just replacing panel here, panel there. Parking lots, that would be the 25,000 for the turnaround out for the Zamboni. Streets, we projected 350,000. Infrastructure, meaning the force main at 650,000. And buildings, which is a combination of the roof, windows. I have to remember what else I had there. I apologize. Yeah, just the back one. That one. Yeah, that would have been that, and the heaters. So. And we'll go forward. So that just gives you a little bit of an overview, and equipment, sorry, $90,000 for equipment. That just gives you an idea of the dollars that are out there for $1.267 million. Next slide. Funding sources. Where are we getting these? Where are we getting these dollars from? So there's several ways we can go about getting these sources of funding. We can borrow it, which I'm not a big fan of. Taxation, utilities, franchise fees, rentals, sales and service, interest, penalties, rentals, grants, key, and reserves, and some out of savings. These are the options that are before council that we have to get these funds. Next slide. So this is what's currently in reserves. So I'm not going to read every number, but you can see what we have in reserves. So we have $1.644 million total in reserves through a variety of different areas.
Sorry.
Stop me when you need me.
Is that restricted and unrestricted reserves but combined? Or do we get a breakdown of?
Well, when you say restricted, we have dedicated, it's one big pile of money that that's what we have in each area. The restricted surplus is 66,000. That's not dedicated to any one area.
That's 663,000.
Sorry, 663,000. I got a really bad line of sight here, guys. Sorry.
663,000.
Unrestricted surplus.
Oh, sorry, it's right here.
Read the last one.
It's on the very last
You got it? Because I didn't see it either.
one. Yeah, at the bottom. I was
So
looking for it, I couldn't
just
see
keep
it.
going, guys.
Yeah,
I'm good.
move on.
So this is what we have currently. We will have currently available. This will be our total amount. So we'll have 53,000 and then 768,000 in LGFF capital.
Are those being applied for now or just
That's what we know. We get
we
the,
have them?
yeah, we don't have all the LGFF. We'll get that allotted to us in, I think, February and March. That'll come forward from the minister. And that's all based on per capita per like population, right?
What's the difference between each of them, the LGFF and the Canada Community?
So it's restricts you what you can use it for. So your local government, the LGFF can be used for most infrastructure and some capital expenditures. The CCBF is more restricted to buildings, if you will. There's a lot more requirements. Sorry, not requirements, more restrictions to what we can use that for.
So
guarantee grants available for application. That means as long as we apply, we'll get it.
Yes, yeah, as long as it meets the criteria of the application. right?
Oh, okay.
So that's something that we do. We make sure that, okay, if we can only. Let's say we can only take 10% of CC, and this is a very big example. We could only take 10% of CCBF and use it toward that project, but we could use 90% for LGFF. Okay, that's how we would do it. Because there are different restrictions on what we can do and what we can't do for each type of grant. I'm just building on these two. There's probably a dozen different grants out there that can be used for a wide variety of resources within the municipality.
But these would be the main ones, though, right?
These are the main ones.
It's one of them, federal and the other provincial, or?
They're federal.
Okay.
You gotta remember the federal fees, the provincial fees, the
Right.
municipalities, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Just for lack of better words, call it federal. Yeah.
I don't like this slide. Next. I don't like.
So currently we have two long-term debentures. There's one for street improvement program that was taken out in 2017 for $1 million and will be completed in 2037. That's the principal amount outstanding at the end of 2025 is $646,000. Second is for the fire hall taken out in 2011, $550,000 and due in 2051. There's 439,000 and change left owing. The debt limit remaining represents the maximum available debt capacity for the town at this time. However, this figure is contingent upon completion and sign off of our internal audit presently taking place. So, in a nutshell, what is our debt limiting? As of 2024, this year, we can only go by what the auditors presented to us last year. The debt limiting limit that we have, we'll note in March. Once they are done, they'll take 2025 and say, okay, you've paid down this much principal, that number will go up. But I can only give you 2024 based on the auditor's report. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that's where we're at as of 2024 in the debt limit. Next slide.
Any questions?
And I'll just need a motion that the administration complete the capital plan as amended and bring back to council for approval on December 17th. So I'll just review the capital plan. That's what I meant.
What are these pages? that you
Yeah,
made?
there's this stuff. I was ready to I'm ready for the next section.
5-year plan.
Oh, yeah, this is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know what ones you're talking about. Yep. Okay. So those are just what we just talked about, Deputy Mayor. I didn't put them in the slideshow because there's a lot of information that's more reading. It's not specific, but it does show you where, like, for instance, let's say, Diana, you can see this, like, it's just a map. Where are we doing these trails?
Like
Just,
this stuff.
yep, that's just the.
So it's the project
justification
and it gives you the price and
Yeah.
the numbers.
And the justification.
I was holding my questions till we got to this part.
Yeah, so like if you look under capital project business case, I put it in there as a slide, but it tells you a little bit about why. Same thing, slurry seal approximately 170 meters. I would have been just replicating or duplicating.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Councilor
Dennis,
Dana.
Yes, sir.
so you have parking lots, which is 25 grand.
Yep.
Okay, so that's, you were talking about, like, where's that, and it's, you were, in the description, it says that it's behind the admin to the bin.
Yeah, so there's two areas, and my apologies, and thank you for correcting me on that. There was two areas. That turnaround for the Zamboni, and where the garbage bin is behind the back
Those
of
were
the mini.
25 grand together.
Together, that's correct.
But these are not like, is there like a big old hole by the bin there?
It's all deteriorated asphalt, so I'm just gonna do a mill and overlay a little thicker at the beginning so the garbage truck weight doesn't squish out the asphalt, but it is designed that way to have asphalt.
But it's not needed. So we could like kibosh this right now, right? Like off the.
The behind the admin building,
Oh, both of them.
Both of them.
if you, that's the will of council.
Because in other, so going back to the arena where we're talking about the turnaround.
Yep.
I don't feel other arenas have that in the other communities, do they? Or which ones do?
So the other arenas, So they have a paved parking lot. We do not. We have gravel. That's one of the reasons we paved it. The
Yeah.
amount of time that the attendant is spending to get gravel out of the tires, we don't want that on the ice at all.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons we
But-
paved it. And
With that being said, sorry to interrupt you, what he basically says, they do have a paved piece. But it's just a little more convenient if they have a nice turnaround.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's inconvenient right now, but maybe it's not in our budget, so.
Yeah,
and again, this is
And that goes
just,
for the back alley.
and this is, you get to decide which ones you want. That's why I
Okay.
want you guys to digest this and
Yeah, that's
bring
fine.
this back on the 17th. You tell me what you think is important and then we will go from there.
and then the 350 was for like the roads, like
Brookside,
throughout, like the
Yeah.
Brookside one by the.
Brookside entrance, Roseville Road, and the east entrance the west entrance in Brookside.
And then equipment for $90,000.
That's mowers.
Hang on, go through your list.
So for this, fixing the alley behind the office building, are we looking to the two contractors we have in town that do that kind of job to get quotes from them?
I haven't even gone out yet because we haven't got approval of it yet.
It'd
So
be nice because there is two companies in town that they do that all over the place and they have good reputation and they're local.
And again, as I stated earlier,
Yeah.
Counselor, I go try to stay local where we can.
We kind of have a sore spot with that, as you know, you pave the Zamboni area and the garbage bin, and I'm driving on gravel for the last 20 years. I know, I'm just saying, okay, carry on, what's next?
What age did you say pump two was? 40?
40 years.
Really, they don't build like they used to, so.
Not a bit.
Part of the
We're
problem,
we got 40 years out of it, so we're probably gonna get
Yeah.
like 10 out of the new.
we're in a disposable society.
And baseboards, you were saying we were gonna put.
We need heaters, you gotta have the heaters.
Yeah, because they wanna be.
Carry on, she's moving on, she's moving forward, bear with us.
And the seals on the windows are on the east side, so those are like the two offices there, is that where it's being affected?
North side. North side. So go, if you want me to name it, it'd be Sharon's and the CAO's office. Those windows they're done. Seals. I've been
Like,
replacing.
are they
windows.
just frosting up around
No,
the,
the seals about the argon gas is gone.
you should feel a little cold air coming in?
I don't, but we're losing heat out, right? So
So we're losing money by.
we're losing money on heating. I've replaced, since I've been here, I've replaced every window other than those two.
So I know that, so I know we had an insurance
Yeah.
claim that we ended up. There was no way that we could have piggybacked and done anything to, even when the contractor, okay. Okay, I was gonna say, even though the contractors were out. Here, that we wanna do in 2025 is the community park / pad. Right, cause that's is that phase 2? Like the park was phase 1 or
Phase 3.
phase 3, the skateboard park, the park, And now
Splash
it's
Park.
splash pad. And that usually is covered by government grant, like grants and stuff like that, right?
That's
And-
correct.
Okay, and that is on our thing to do.
So a 5-year capital plan is exactly what it is. It's a plan. Priorities change, 100%. Pricing changes. What do we want to do? We try to provide that 5-year capital plan to council so that it gives them some sort of an idea, a direction where we're going. When we started the Cosmic Playground, it started out as skateboard park. And I know 2 of you from council would have been part of this from prior council. Then we said, okay, let's go to, and the plan always, what was derived from Strathcona County, it actually had 4 parts to it. So it had the skateboard park, it had the playground, then it had the splash pad, and then it had the cook site shack. The cook site facility, I'm not sure if I'm using the right word, like a shack, a cook site shack. That was the 4 phases of it, and they're the ones that put the plans together. Sherry, I would ask if you could help me with that one. I know we did start a drive for the splash pad, a donation,
So
I think, and you'll have to help me with
we haven't started the splash park yet. So the last project that we worked on was the actual playground, and that was probably, I would say, 4 years of fundraising by the recreation board that we had at that point in time. And they raised part of it, and then we got a costing, and we got a government grant, a federal grant, and then the Ag Society applied for a provincial grant for matching funds. So we were able to pool all those money, the fundraising money, the money the town put aside, and then the Ag Society applied for another grant. And we were able to build that part of it. So now if we want to start, if it's the will of council to look at the next stage, we would look at how we're gonna start that, right? Because it would probably be a combination of all those things again.
So how do I'm pretty sure the majority of council wants this to be one of like our priorities. We want to get this done because it got put. So how do we make, like, how do we say like, hey,
Yeah, so what I would suggest, Deputy Mayor, is put a motion forth, whenever. It doesn't have to be now.
put it on next agenda? Can we do that?
I'm not sure how much we have on there, but in the next couple of meetings, you can just put that forth and say, start looking at community organizations doing donations, industry donations, and that would be their motion towards a spray splash pad, rather than taxpayers or grant funding. Or you could even add that in there, that on top of these contributions, look at sources of other funding for this project, if that's something council wants to move forward.
What's going on? You want water? Yeah. For the
Okay,
quarter?
so you said that we don't have a recreational board anymore? We used to have one, we don't have it anymore?
Had a recreational board for a number of years, and then it just banned because the volunteers literally burnt out. People were exhausted. They were, and volunteers got tired.
So did I answer your question or help you out there? Yeah, like just bring it forth as a,
Yeah, just so we can start it, right?
Yeah.
Cause if it says it took 4 years to do this park, like, I would love it for.
I loved what we
done
did
by
with
this term,
I loved what we
right?
did with the skateboard park, because we kept taking the thermometer number up,
Yeah.
right?
Expedited.
Yeah.
It's about the force main, but let's start now. Shovels in the ground. Yeah, no snow removal.
Moving on.
So that brings me to the close of our 2026 presentation, which again, I can't enforce enough. These are numbers. They're on the most part, they're good. You brought forth some really good questions that we'll bring answers back to you in the coming meetings. Yeah, is there anything else that council has that perhaps we've overlooked or not seen?
Just, from what's been presented, I want to thank you guys all for your hard work and your Saturday. I would like to give you some time back here soon. Any more questions like Dennis said, council? It's appreciated. We've got some homework to do again. And I think we're moving forward.
Yeah, thanks for getting all that together, guys.
Taking it
Thank
away
you.
from me like other things. It's mine.
It's yours, bud.
Are we looking for a motion to accept it as information?
Yep.
I make motion.
Counselor Dana,
I motion that we accept this capital, is it capital plan or it all,
Just
like
all,
everything?
just the 2026 operating and
Okay,
I
capital budget
motion
as
that we accept-
information.
What Dennis said.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Dan. All in favor? Motion's carried unanimously.
So we'll just need a motion for 11A to
Closed session?
close session. And actually, I'm going to ask all of my staff